Tonight's City Council, January 20th, 2026, Lord's Prayer. Dear God, today as this session opens, we pray that your presence will be before us and everyone who serves in the decision-making process of our city. We pray for the direction which will lead our city to be strong and unified. May we continue the legacy of our forefathers. May we be granted this day the wisdom to make decisions which will be for the good of our city. We also pray for your special blessing on all those who are working to transform our city and make it a better place to live and work. Amen. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Council Duran.
Here.
Council Liang.
Here.
Council McDonough.
Here.
Council Mercier.
Here.
Council Noon.
Here.
Council Robinson.
Here.
Council Rourke.
Here.
Council Scott.
Here.
Council Chow.
Here.
Council Dakota.
Here.
Mayor Gitchia.
Here.
11 present.
Moment of silence is Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to offer a moment of silence for Walter Joseph Cahill. He was the 13th born and last surviving of 15 children. A lifelong resident of Lowell, Mass, Wally was educated at St. Peter's School and Lowell High School and spent time serving as an altar boy. He put in years of hard work as a union laborer with the local 429 before taking a position as a building inspector for the city of Lowell right here, a role he would fill until his retirement. In order to keep social, he continued to work for Kazanjian until last year. Always happy to spark conversation, he was a favorite person at many Lowell establishments, and many referred to him as the unofficial mayor of the city of Lowell. After getting married in 1959, Wally and Mary Ann spent the next 30 years watching their kids play at Shed Park and many other fields and gymnasiums around Lowell. He is survived by his childhood sweetheart and loving wife, Anne Marie Whalen Cahill, and 5 children, Walter, William, Kevin, Donna Barrows, and Greg Cahill. He is also survived by Sa Chum, whom was like an adopted son to Wally and Anne Marie and his beautiful family. He will be dearly missed by his 9 grandchildren. He will also be remembered by many nieces and nephews. We send our condolences to the family. And I'd like to also offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber for Mary Ann Conley McMahon, beloved mother, grandmother, aunt, and friend, and member of a well-known Greater Lowell family. She was the loving wife for over 64 years of the late James McMahon, who predeceased her in February of 2025. Mary Ann was a graduate of South Boston High School and went on to attend UMass Lowell, where she received her Bachelor's of Arts in Education, followed by her Master's in Education. In addition, she was later awarded an advanced degree as a literary specialist. She was a dedicated teacher devoted to her students. Mary Ann was an educator with the city of Lowell for over 30 years, having taught at the Green and Varnum schools and as a literacy specialist at the Merkland School until her retirement. She is survived by her 4 children, Kathleen Sturdivant, and her husband, retired police officer Robert Colleen Cox, her husband, former city manager John Cox, Erin Hart and her husband Alan, and Jay McMahon, 6 grandchildren. We offer our condolences to her family, relatives, and her many friends. And lastly, I'd like to also offer a moment of silence in darkened chamber to all those who passed away since our last city council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to have a moment of silence in darkened chambers for Deborah Ann Verfaeli. Deborah passed away on January 13th after fighting many years with cancer. Born in Lowell on September 20th, 1953, she's the daughter of Dorothy Greaves of Lowell and the late Glenn Greaves. She is survived by her amazing, wonderful husband, Joseph, with whom she spent 35 amazing years. Her loving son, Derek DeMeo, and his wife, Lisa, and her 2 beautiful granddaughters, Danica and Presley DeMeo of Chicago, Illinois. She was very involved in keeping the Lowell High School class of 71 together, creating a Facebook group for them, and he loved hosting many events and being reunited with many of her classmates. This was very special to her. Deborah served the United States Navy during Vietnam. She was employed at the Bedford VA Hospital for 25 years, retiring in 2014. She loved the Boston Red Sox and was a loyal fan and loved when her nephew, Jeff Bernier, offered her tickets to the game. Her highest highlight was on September 27th when her own Derek took her to the game and the Red Sox clinched the playoffs. She had the most amazing time. She loved being at Fenway. She was a friend of Bill W. for 35 years and was proud of her sobriety. Her best and most treasured times in her life were with her son Derek. Lisa, Danica, and Presley came to visit. This was when she was at her happiest. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. More silence Dr. Chair for Jay Milanazzo, 57, a longtime resident of Lowell who passed away Saturday, January 17th, 2026, at Lowell General Hospital. He was surrounded by his family, known for loving fiercely and standing unwaveringly loyal. Jay was especially devoted to his wife of 30 years, Renee Jacques Milanazzo. Jay was born in Lowell on December 17th, 1968, the son of the late James Milanazzo and the late Joanne Bureau Queen. He graduated from Lowell High School class of 1988. Above all, Jay treasured time with his family. He enjoyed hiking around Lake Winnipesaukee, often inviting others to join him on shorter ones with the best views, sharing laughter, quiet moments, and the beauty of the outdoors. He also enjoyed the peace of seasonal camping, relaxing in his hammock and taking calm around him. Jay had a keen interest in the stock market and personal finance, enjoying sharing his knowledge and could debate politics with insight and good humor. Jay was a devoted supporter of his children, celebrating every achievement and never missing a chance to be there for them. He especially enjoyed the football season, attending games whenever he could, and cheering enthusiastically from the sidelines. He was also a deep love for animals, especially his boxer Milo, whose companionship brought him joy and countless smiles. Jay dedicated 28 years to Comcast, advancing from the residential technician to field manager in network maintenance department. He took pride in his work, embraced his challenges, and formed a brotherhood with colleagues who were more than just co-workers. They were his family in every sense. He served as a firearms instructor, approaching the role with professionalism, responsibility, and strong commitment to safety. In addition to his loving wife, Jay is survived by his children, Alyssa Boogie and her husband Jason of Shopley, Maine, Sheila Milanazzo and her partner Miguel of Manchester, New Hampshire, and Aiden Milanazzo of Lowell and his partner Alina of Dunstable, as well as his treasured grandchildren, Colton, Sawyer, Leonardo, and Orlease. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Rourke. Mr. Clerk, if you darken the chambers, please. Can we please keep those doors open, please? It's an open meeting. Thank you. 2, Mayor's Business. 2.1, Communications, Remote Zoom Participation. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor Noon. 3.1, Minutes of the City Council Regular Meeting, January 13th for acceptance. Motion to accept and place on file by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Duran. 4 general public hearings is scheduled for 7 p.m., so we'll skip that right now. 5, city council motions.
Mr. Mayor?
5.1, Councilor
Can I
Robinson.
make a motion to take something out of order?
Sure.
I'd like to take communications from city manager, informational, Fuse Ideas, city brand presentation, out of order.
By Council Robbins, seconded by Council Rourke. 6.1, informational reports. Informational report, Fuse Ideas City Branding Presentation. Mr. Manager? Mr. Roche?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Manager. So we are very excited to present to you tonight the rebranding of the City of Lowell. Fuse Ideas is here. They're a team that we have worked with for over a year and a half. We're excited for this presentation. Diandra?
Mr. Rozier, can we just take a moment? Can we take a moment?
Sure. Who is asking that? Oh, hi. Hi.
I don't think my colleagues mind if we just take a minute until the goes down. Thank you.
I think they're excited about the new brand.
Okay, let's get started. Good evening. Just before we dive in, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the work that went into getting here. This project has been more than a year in the making and has truly been a collaborative effort. I want to thank the city staff across departments who gave their time, insight, and honest feedback throughout this process, as well as the many community organizations and partners who took time out of their busy schedules to share perspectives and help shape this work. The new brand and positioning is designed to support how we market and promote Lowell. Across TV, digital platforms, sponsorships, and broader communications, I do want to note that this does not replace the city seal or its official use on legal documents like birth certificates, contracts, or formal records. The seal is staying exactly where it belongs. Our goal here was to create a clear, consistent, and compelling way to tell Lowell's story, one that feels authentic to who we are and flexible enough to grow with us. Fuse Ideas, who I'll introduce in a moment, did an excellent job synthesizing a really wide range of inputs and opinions into something that is simple, compelling, and grounded in the reality of our city. What they've developed gives us a strong, durable foundation to message and promote Lowell for years to come. With that, I'm pleased to introduce Fuse Ideas, who will walk us through the work and the thinking that got us here.
Thank you very much, and thank you for providing us with the opportunity to serve the city.
Mr. Mayor, I really want to listen to the speakers. Can we just take a minute?
Yeah, we're going to take a 10-minute recess.
Thank you.
Motion by Council Dakota, seconded by Council Duran. Meeting come to order. Mr. Clerk, could you take a roll call, please?
Councilor Duran.
Here.
Councilor Liang.
Here.
Councilor McDonough.
Here.
Councilor Mercier.
Here.
Councilor Newton.
Here.
Councilor Robinson.
Here.
Councilor Rourke.
Here.
Councilor Scott.
Here.
Councilor Chow.
Here.
Councilor Dakota.
Here.
Mayor Getchia.
Here.
11 present.
We'll go back to the portion, we were under suspension of the rules. 6.1, informational reports. Information report from the city manager, Fuse Ideas, city brand presentation. If we could have the speakers come back up and start it over again so that the public could hear. Just give us 1 second. So if we can have the speakers from the presentation just start over again so that the public can hear where we were. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much for the time and the more tranquil atmosphere here. And thank you very much for providing Fuse Ideas with the opportunity to serve the city of Lowell. Today we're going to talk briefly, and the teammates will introduce themselves as they come up. My name is Glenn Morgan. I'm the president of Fuse Ideas, and I have to confess I came into this engagement fully and absolutely biased because I love Lowell. I lived in Lowell during my 20s. I graduated from Lowell here. I earned $247 a week working for Colonial Gas, and they still cut my gas off, my heat off at the end of every winter for 3 winters in a row, but they, had to run a business. And I had my first professional job working for Wally Armstrong, rest in peace, George Duncan, and the team at First Bank in Dick, Maine. And so Lowell is a city I love. And I was responsible during this engagement to support our creative team and our strategy team with research. And so we conducted a 400-person survey of people in Massachusetts, 95% confidence level. And we found that I'm not the only one that loves Lowell. Now, if you ask people in Lowell, they all have a beef about Lowell. Like, well, I'm from Lowell, what's with you? People outside of Lowell consider Lowell an undiscovered gem. They consider Lowell a remarkably attractive place. Less than 20% of the people have anything negative to say about Lowell. The challenge with Lowell is letting individuals outside of the city know what's here. When people come to Lowell, they return to Lowell. And I was responsible for defining this research and sharing it with Kevin, who in turn came up with the insights that would fuel our creative. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin, and Kevin's going to talk about the strategy that we used to fuel the creative for the new brand position for the city of Lowell. And again, thank you for allowing us to serve you.
Thank you, Glenn. So we'll go ahead a couple, yeah. So this is basically the time span of the project. Spent roughly a year on this, again, going through and doing our external research and our internal research, as Glenn mentioned. Here, I can draft there. Glenn went ahead. This is kind of a recap of what he did in the deck here. Talked to 400 different residents in and outside of Lowell, getting their perspectives on Lowell. He passed it on to me, but we wanted to, and these are the key takeaways that Glenn mentioned again, people living within Lowell had great things to say. People living outside of Lowell had a lot of great things to say, but they weren't aware of all the great things that Lowell had to offer. So our aha moment there was, we need to educate them. We need a campaign to educate these people. So we also want to hear from internal stakeholders here. This is really important for us to talk to all the different stakeholders, get information from each one of these people, learn from them, and make sure that when we come up with our marketing, that everything is reflected back in it so that everyone looks at it and says, I agree with that. I can see what I said is included in there. So I'm the head of strategy at the agency. I conducted every one of these interviews, spoke with, as you look here, about 30 different people that are on the marketing task force across all these different organizations. I'm not going to read them to you in consideration of time, and people within the city departments and offices, and had about an hour conversation with each one of these individuals, asked them about the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities for improvement, what people need to know about Lowell, what are the hidden gems, what should be reflected in the messaging. And from there we go on, and this is a process we use when we're creating brands. We create dozens of different brands a year for a lot of different destinations. We do a deep dive. Who's the audience? Who are the different groups we're talking to here? What do we have to offer that they're looking for, and how is that different from our competition? That leads us to our key insight. So I'm going to read through this and take that time because this is important. The various audiences we talk to here, and there's a lot of them. There's the current people that are here. There's the residents and the businesses. Then there's the potential audiences we're trying to attract, the visitors and investors. They all view Lowell as a diverse, culturally rich, welcoming city that's built on tenacity and poised for a bright future. What do we have to offer? What's our brand? What did everyone tell us about Lowell? It was that the city of Lowell was built on providing opportunity to people from all walks of life, whom in turn work hard to build a better future. Competition, we looked at the competitive cities around us. Successful destinations speak to the essence of who they are, giving a nod to their past and showing how it's a key part of the future. So we don't want to just look back, and that's an important part of who we are, that heritage, but we want to build on that heritage and say, this is what makes us special going forward. So the insight we had here was Lowell has a rich history of welcoming people from all walks of life who embrace this opportunity and work hard to enhance their lives and their community. Those attributes of diversity, tenacity, and industry are all still the cornerstones of Lowell today, and are the same attributes that position Lowell for a successful future. And when we boil it down to one message, this isn't a tagline, but this is kind of the core essence of what we came up with from our research. The key message was Lowell, Mass, where opportunity begins. And then we put this in a brand house, again, with our brand platform at the top, the brand promise that I just read to you, and those three pillars that we talked about. And those three pillars are really the buckets. And these words in here are the words that came through in all the conversations we had, those 400 stakeholder interviews that we did, the 400-person survey and the 30 stakeholder interviews. These were the words that came up again and again, the things that people felt the city of Lowell were built on, and these are the foundations of Lowell that support our brand platform: diversity, tenacity, and industry. Again, this is, a couple months long exercise. It's usually like a 50-page deck. We boiled it down to 5 slides for you here, but then we put that all in the creative brief and we hand it off to the creative team so they have this cheat sheet and they use that as a foundation for the creative work. And now they're going to show you how they bring that to life.
So as the creative team, we get to add romance to these insights. We get to tell stories and we get to make people feel something about the city of Lowell that we learned is already in them, and we get to bring that out. And so with this manifesto and with this core idea, we established Lowell as the city of opportunity. And I'm going to read this through. This kind of establishes the voice, the tone, and the way that we're going to be able to tell stories about Lowell going forward. Let's talk about the beginning. The stage that was set when the mills opened up and the Industrial Revolution set fire to the playbook we'd been using for centuries. The diverse origins of people who make their homes, their livings, and their families here, all with one thing in common. They deserve their opportunity. Let's talk about the future, the way a neighborhood can rise to become an innovation district for the city's next era, and the way a college can cultivate the minds of new generations and grow them into the adults who will define where we go next. They deserve their opportunity. Let's talk about the greater good, the momentum behind a more sustainable future, how growth spurs invention and invention spurs growth, and how a more inclusive city is the watchword for all of us. Because when everyone gets the opportunities they deserve, you create a culture that lives and breathes on every block, in every building, now and for years to come. Welcome to Lowell, Massachusetts, the city of opportunity.
So what does this all turn into? Which everyone, I'm sure, is wondering. One thing we want to make sure is that every creative decision we make has to be intentional. That means we're not pulling things from the sky or like, ooh, this is trendy, we want to use that. We want to make sure that everything that we're doing is rooted in the strategy and our research and everything that has gone in before this. So what we end up coming up with is we knew we wanted something to feel and look like it's coming from the voice of the people of Lowell. And highly inspired by the artistic community, you can see that there's almost like a brushstroke quality to Lowell Mass type. This makes it feel human and feel true. When you really look at it, you start to notice that the type actually increases. It starts lower and then rises. That creates that positive momentum for Lowell, and that creates that energy that it's moving somewhere really special. And on top of that, we have the Lowell type going across waves, the Merrimack River. So essentially, your Lowell type really is bridging over the Merrimack to create that city of opportunity for people. Bridges are a symbolism of that opportunity. And to kind of just sign it off elegantly, we have established in 1826 in this serif font, which is timeless, and it's to pay homage to the history of Lowell. And then we want to make sure we play around with like our different colors and making sure that it's going to sustain through different colors and interests as it's being shown on different materials. And especially in black and white. A logo doesn't work if it doesn't work in black and white. So that was the big choice here. And then we even started to discover an abbreviated version. Still embraces the essence of Lowell with the L, with that brushstroke, and still crossing over the Merrimack. So while it's simplified, it doesn't lose its essence. And then we went into our color palette exercise, and you'll notice that there are 3 different arrays of blues. When you step outside, you see it from the Merrimack to the skies, and we really want to capture that open air essence of it. But just as importantly, we wanted to bring in different pieces of inspiration. You have this maroon that's stretched across, and it's this deep, almost regal-looking color that actually embraces the education in Lowell. But then we want to tap into a little bit of these grounding colors, such as the forest green. That really speaks to the trees and the foliage that you see in Lowell, but also down to the National Park Service as well. And then we want to explore tertiary colors or secondary colors. These are used to complement the main palette. You can see that spring growth is another hue of green, and then you have an earth brown that's really grounded in tangerine, and this is all inspired by the sunsets as they cast upon the buildings of Lowell. Typography is just as important. It shouldn't just be type that's laid out on an image or a logo. Type needs to feel like it's a part of the image itself or a part of the logo. So we end up choosing the font family aptly. It's got these beautiful soft edges that complements the curves of the logo, and we apply that to even like subheads with the aptly regular. And again, using Museo as that classic timeless serif that really starts to bring to life its past heritage. But we also wanted to discover font-safe executions, because when you're sharing files, you need to make sure that people that have access to the files, they have these fonts as well. So we ended up using the Arial family to encapsulate that, but then using Courier New Regular as a way to embrace that heritage as well. And as we started to execute assets, we started to work on business cards. One side, it's the logo, living by itself on a beautiful canvas, and when you flip it over, we have negative space for the information to sit in the business card, but taking some of those elements from the logo and stretching it across the corner to create dimension and interest on the business card. And when you start to get into letterheads and envelopes, you have to make sure it's clean, because that's where all your information is going. But you can see with the maroon and being able to utilize the type and negative space, it's a very clean execution of presenting the Lowell brand. And again, what we had talked about, the safe font execution, here you can see it in a PowerPoint presentation template, and this is designed to showcase, the brand can really come through, but you can also see how there are ways to use these safe fonts to bring it to life as well. We also went down into the social media templates. We found a few pieces of information through the social feed, such as simple posts down to roadway repair updates. And we want to carry through that look and feel and that artist integrity of the brand and inject it into the social media execution. And lastly, we were tasked with taking a look at the website refresh and like a reskin of the website, and in taking those new colors, taking that new brand, those elements, and reskinning it to give it new life and vibrancy. Thank you.
Mr. Manager?
There is one final piece. We wanted to bring the brand to life in the form of a brand anthem video, which we would like to play and share with you now. Yep. Take 2. See if he's fixed it. Not yet. No problem. What's that?
Mr. Manager?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. Council's, any comments we can make over the next minute or so. I just want to say thank you very much to Fuse for bringing this forward. They were a real pleasure to work with and a real opportunity to really have a lot of push and pull back and forth with the team. And I think that Ms. Silk, who was here with us, and Ms. DeRojas really led this up over the last year. And it's a good opportunity for us to look at this, to reinvent or reimagine what we want to be in the city. So, Ms. Silk, if you have anything at this time to just bring forward, we're just waiting on the next, I think it's a 45-second video, folks, or something like that. It's very short, so it's coming up. Okay, well, but thank you very much for all the hard work you did.
All set? No?
Councilor Robinson?
Thank you. I'd like to thank the presenters, and I'd like to point out to the public, this is pretty much, I believe it was our first term getting elected, that the council really pushed to bring in a robust marketing, branding department, and thus CASE was born. And you put together an incredible team of professionals to work for the city and with the city to really highlight and promote the positives that we've been doing. And I think this is just another example and a further extension of that. And I thank the manager and his team for going out and finding a group like this that can help us with the images that are going to stand by everything that we've been trying to do in the past 4 or 5 years at least to really launch Lowell in what public perception and imagery is. And I think this is spot on. So thank you, and this is amazing. I'd like to see how they put the color template together, the font templates together, as well as, I mean, with CASE doing the volume of information sharing as they've been doing, I think this opens the door to a whole new realm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Councilor Chow?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank the Fuse team, the Fuse Ideas team, trying to get that name right, very, very creative. Also want to thank the manager for having the team make that presentation. To have the entire city know all the background work and the foreground work to get the event going, and the logo is just fantastic. I love it. Just a quick question. On the list of the stakeholder interviews, I love all the nonprofit organizations, the leadership involved, and I'm not quite sure if the interviewing process has been complete. I don't know if the manager or the team can answer this. I was thinking that if you could add one more organization, Cambodian Town, among the stakeholders interview, because that's really is the heart of, there's a region called the Cambodian Town on Branch Street, a lot of small businesses, a lot of entrepreneur, open space and park, a lot of unique activities like sports. They play even like bocce from the old country. The CMA celebrate the Cambodian New Year celebration over there. But it's just fantastic food, like Andrew Zimmerman came to visit. One of the restaurants won the Michelin Award. I think if you were to include that organization interview, you would get one more perspective of small business. Is, you know, like every major towns, they have this small business neighborhood that it's like the identity of that city. For example, like Chinatown, Boston, in New York and San Francisco. So I think it would be unique. It would really add to the strength and inclusivity of the whole process. It's just an idea. I know whatever you have now, the video, what I saw is fantastic, it's beautiful. Just a lot of thought. Thank you.
Mr. Manager?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. The video may be technical difficulty, so we may revisit this at the end. But once again, Council, we will have our team reach out to make sure that that does happen. But I think it's an important piece. This council really pushed this, as Councilor Robinson had stated earlier. This is something that we moved forward on probably now over 3 years ago, pretty much close to 3 years ago, where business owners, the restaurants downtown really had a say in how we wanted to do this. We brought about, I think at that meeting, we probably had over 40 people just talking about how we need to rebrand and redeliver. And Fuse Ideas is an organization we found after interviewing a lot of people. So
I mean, I'm very happy with it. I know that the council has had an opportunity to view this, and I think it's a good chance for us, 2026, to move forward. You're going to love the video when we show it at the end of the meeting, but I don't want to keep our friends from Fuse Ideas here any longer, and of course, I know that there's a lengthy agenda, but it's got it and it's ready to go. Of course, just because I said that, so.
Before we go, Mr. Manager,
Yes.
Council Liang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a question. Of course, the logos is great. I want to know is that have it been shown to the residents or the nonprofit organization, and what are some of the cultural interpretation in regarding to colors and the shapes of it, and what's some of their thought in terms of the residents and the nonprofits in regarding to the cultural aspect?
Mr. Manager.
I can't speak to the cultural aspect, but I know that with over the 30 groups that were there, they were pushing back and really, this is a community that was shaping the 30 folks shaping this back and forth. The color scheme we're still working through. We will continue to work through that. I mean, Maroon 5, as everybody knows here, that's the color of Lowell High. That's one of the very I guess most basic. The black and white is something that I was educated on. If it doesn't work in just pure black and white, then it's something that probably won't work at all. That's something I learned over the past year and a half. But I think we're still in that phase of talking to other groups, other organizations. But I think the 30, Ms. Silk, we had people that were extremely active. We tried to reach out to everybody possible. Some people have time to participate. Some people gave us an hour. Some people gave us, as the team knows, some of the team folks gave us 20 hours of thought and push and pull, and that's kind of how this was done. So I think that's something that I'll charge Ms. Silk with to make sure that it's culturally appropriate as far as colors and whatnot. But I think the team would say yes, the different colors, the different schemes, is something that we want everybody to be able to endorse, feel like it's their logo. Everything we've seen thus far, however, the council was the first to see it, and that was designed because you probably should. And right now, I can tell you with at least the text messages that are going here, people seem to like how it looks. So we're still, I guess we're still vetting, but this was an opportunity for the public to see this, and of course the council to actually take the credit for this. This is something that the council started 3 years ago, Councilor, I believe. 4 years back, I believe, the city of Lowell, didn't have a robust marketing department. We did not have a robust communications. And I know that Ms. DeRoche is going to be working on something when we do our year in review in 2025. We're going to talk about the 5,000 people that we were touching upon, and now the tens of thousands of people, and I don't have those numbers cold. But this is all part of what we've been trying to do to make sure that everyone in the city of Lowell, as well as outside the city of Lowell, knows all the things that are happening here. And the professionals here from Fuse, they kind of proved that to us. They proved that 80%, I think, was the number with the over 400 people that they talked to. 80% of those folks are saying positive things. Well, those are the folks that we need to continue to talk to. Those are the folks that we need to engage. Those are the businesses that really kick this off. So hopefully that answers your question. And this thing, Councilor, is just the beginning of where we're going to go in the future.
Thank you, Councilor Yang. We are all set for the video, so we'll have it in 1 minute.
The rebranding of Lowell started at the city's historic beginnings, the stage that was set when the mills opened up and the Industrial Revolution set fire to the playbook we'd been using for centuries. Now, a new generation takes up the mantle of creating a future for the city where all residents thrive. The city's new identity all flows from its new logo, a mark that embraces the past and adds a future-focused determination. The main Lowell typeface is inspired by the city's thriving art scene. It resembles a brushstroke to evoke a hand-drawn feel. We added an upward tilt to the type to give it a sense of growth and positive momentum. The MA sign-off reminds us where we're from and acts as reassurance that our influence and impact go well beyond city limits. While the Since 1826 uses a classic serif typeface that calls back to the city's industrial-era heritage. The waves in the background represent the bridges that run across the Merrimack and Concord rivers. This speaks to the idea that Lowell itself is a bridge to opportunity and gives the logo a refreshing sense of place. A warm, welcoming color scheme evokes the rich culture that lives and breathes on every block, in every building, and shines in the waters of the city's waterways. Along with the logo comes a new brand personality, one that lives organically in the diverse groups who make their homes, their livings, and their families here. Optimistic, hopeful, inclusive, diverse, proud, empowering, active versus passive, and forward-moving. Each trait lives within the heartbeat of the city, creating a suite of brand elements united by the common desire for opportunity that we see every day. Together, these elements form the newest era of the city of Lowell, Massachusetts, the city of opportunity.
Thank you. With that being said, we're going to go back to the regular portion of the meeting. For general public hearings, 4.1 loan order, amend a high school project, second reading, to borrow $36,185,757 in addition to $381,967,231 previously authorized to borrow by vote of the City Council on May 7th, 2019, and March 29th, 2022, to pay the cost of designing, constructing, equipping, and furnishing any additional and renovation project at Lowell High School. Hearing is open for those in favor. For those in favor, please come to the mic. Seeing no one, that portion of the meeting is closed. The portion, those against? Those against?
Mr. Mayor, there's a person on Zoom. Teresa Roach. Teresa Roach, Zoom. Go ahead.
You can speak, you're ready. We're not getting audio.
Is there another person?
There we go.
Can you
Here we
hear
go.
me now?
We can hear you now.
Okay, can you see me?
We can
There I
see you.
am. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm not speaking for or against. I'm just speaking about concerns about the property tax increases to pay for the $40 million that the construction company wants. So I'll just speak in two parts. One part is my concerns, and one is a couple of questions. So my concern is that a lot of the population of Lowell, almost a quarter of it, is senior citizens, and we live on a fixed income. And if the property taxes are going to go up in the ratio that was shown in the chart last week, that's a big expense for a lot of us to pay. We actually can't afford it. So I don't know what you planned on doing with that, because I'm afraid eventually we'll be taxed out of our homes. That's my concern. And my questions were, it said, I'll just speak for my house, it said $63 annually. I'd like you to define annually, not the Webster Dictionary version, we all know what it means, but what the political or financial annual means. Does that mean $63 every year in perpetuity? or is there a stoppage somewhere, or is it going to go up more? And leads me to the next question. Is the $63 in my particular house value? So is the amount going up, does that cover all of Lowell's projects and other financial responsibilities? Or is that just the $40 million? So is the $40 million, they need $63 more a year from us? And then there's also other projects in Lowell and the running of the city. Is there more taxes to add to the 63, or is that the total? So those are my concerns and questions. Can those of us with fixed incomes or low incomes, it is a working class city. And I'm afraid you're going to tax the citizens right out. And you'll have this great city, and nobody that's living here now will be able to live in it in the future. So those are my questions and concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else opposed? 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 Seeing no one, we're going to close that portion of the hearing. And Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the CFO Baldwin. Just for the edification of the public, can you tell us how we went from the 39 million down to the 36.2, I believe? Just so I've been getting a lot of questions and comments wondering how that all became that number.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the question, Councilor. The project team is here to provide additional detail. I'm certainly happy to give an overview at the high level as to how we arrived with the project team from the original request and the loan order that was brought forward in December to, so the prior loan order was $39.8 million. This loan order that's in front of the council this evening for the public hearing is $36,185,757. I'll be exact for the purposes of the conversation. And what makes up that 36 million, and how did we get to 36 from 39? That's the question, if I'm understanding correctly. So there are three major changes that occurred between the original request and the request that's before the council today. Number one, reduction in fee from the OPM from about $2.4 million to $2.2 million. That's about a $200,000 reduction. Number two, a reduction in fee from the architect, Perkins Eastman, from about $2.1 million to about $1.9 million, a reduction of about $214,000. And then the rest of the reduction came as a reduction in contingency. So the amount for the construction manager and their subs, the trade partners, held at $20 million. The reduction in the contingency, so the contingency in the original loan order was $14.75 million. The contingency in the revised loan order before the council this evening is $11.5 million. That is a reduction in $3.25 million. So if you add together those changes that I outlined here, the 3.25 plus the $400,000 in fee reduction, that equals 3.66 million. That is the difference between the original loan order that was brought before the council in December and the order before the council this evening.
Understanding that Skanska gave 200,000 and Perkins and Eastman gave 200,000, how much did Suffolk give?
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The amount in the two orders is the same for Suffolk and their trade partners.
So they didn't give us anything back, did they?
CFO Baldwin.
That's correct, Councilor.
Okay. Now, understanding that Phase 4 is underway, and we've already gotten a little hint of what could potentially happen, do you feel confident, and maybe I'll ask Suffolk as well and Skanska, do you feel confident that the $11 million left in the contingency will take us all the way there? Or is somebody going to be coming back to this council looking for more money?
Mr. Kane, could you come up and answer that question, please? If you would, Mr. Kane, just state your name and company for the record.
Don. My name's Kevin Kane. I'm with Skanska USA Building. We're the owner's project manager for the project from the beginning of the project, starting about 10 years ago. So we've been working every day to reduce the cost of the project with changes and reviews. And we had $39 million. We reduced by $3 million on the contingency. We are going to do whatever we can to keep the number without having to come back. But to do that, we're all going to work hard between Suffolk, Skanska, Perkins Eastman, and to keep the numbers down.
Have we found the nature of the problem in Phase 4? I mean, where are we at with that, and how much more money is it going to cost, or are we even at that point yet?
For anything specific that structural?
Right, which has already been put out in the papers, that there is a problem in Phase 4 in Colburn Hall, which is the oldest building at Lowell High School. So I'm asking you, as the project manager, do you feel that the $11 million that we're going to have left in the contingency fund will bring us all the way to the promised land, so to say?
Right now, that finding that we've uncovered,
Yep.
structural, we have the engineer with Perkins Eastman, structural engineer, reviewing last week the condition that we found that didn't meet what we understood to be the contract document requirements from the 1990 revision up renovations, and we're waiting to hear back from him this week. Does it meet the structural requirements for what was performed back in 1990?
So this council will know by this Friday what the deal is, right?
We will, to the impact, we will have good information of whether it's Friday or it's next week. We will put the information together. We'll get an answer. We're going to get some information Thursday or Friday this week.
All right, thank you. Obviously, Mayor Getchir and myself were the two votes that were voted against this $39 million. When it first came up for a vote, I really don't know what recourse we really have at this point. And they're holding the cards, and we got a pair of aces, and we have a pair of twos right now. So we need to get the project done. I understand that, and I will be voting in favor, but I'm not happy, and I got to tell you, I really think they're going to come back at us again. I really do. I just have no confidence in this project or with Suffolk at all. Not to mention, Skanska and Perkins Eastman gave some money back, and Suffolk was a little hesitant to do that. Not a sign of good faith, that's for sure. So I'll leave it at that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dakota. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. So, through you to the city manager or CFO, is Mr. Kane the new OPM assigned to this project? Or are we still dealing with what we had for the first few phases?
Manager Golden.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kane is the, I don't want to say your title, Mr. Kane, but he is the point person for the project. The former gentleman is still working on the project because he's got 4 or 5 years' experience there. But Mr. Kane is the senior. Would that be appropriate?
Called lead. Lead.
Lead. It's called the lead.
Thank you. And I do have a problem with that. I think they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over with a negative end result. And we're keeping somebody on the project that, from the gate, from fixtures to bleachers to the track to large-scale items. And now here we are looking for a $30+ million overage, where it appears to me that this problem that was identified in Phase 4 isn't even included in this ask, and we won't know until maybe next week what to anticipate on that issue that's followed. So I don't see how we're sitting here to take a vote for a dollar amount of this magnitude when we've just been told basically, well, P.S., there is another problem that we have identified and we don't know what the impact's going to be. So we're going to be back here shortly again, and that's guaranteed. That was clearly expressed. Wouldn't it make sense to hold off on this overage that we're seeking till we have a clearer picture of getting to the finish line? Because right now we're piecemealing it, and yes, we cut it back by like $3-point-something million on the initial ask of the overage, but it's just going to be included in the next ask. So like, why don't we hold off until we have a final number that people can stand by until we have this conversation? Because if not, we're going to be back here again very shortly. And again, I understand people have to get paid. We definitely need to get this project to the finish line. But we need an OPM that's going to make sure that our best interest is first and foremost. That the residents' taxes, first and foremost. Every penny that we're invested into this educational compound, first and foremost. Are we going to value engineer our way out? I don't know. But based on what was just said earlier, they already identified another problem in the pipeline with no real knowledge of what that's going to do to impact this project. So I won't be supporting this tonight because we're going to be right back here based on what was just explained. Thank you.
Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I do have, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Steve Baldwin, if you could please give me a listing as to what is 36.2 million on, say, Skanka, Perkin Eastman, Suffolk, additional trade, and contingencies fund. So give me a list, a rundown as to what add them up into $36.2 million for me, please.
Mr. CFO.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Gladly, Councilor. So for the OPM, the revised fee is $2,236,552. The architect cost is $1,945,531. The cost for the GC and all of their subtrades is $20,503,674. And then the revised amount for contingency counselor is $11.5 million. All of those together combined equal $36,185,757.
With this new loan order, 36.2 million, you did say, am I correct, that Suffolk Construction did not, there's no concession from Suffolk Construction at all, right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So with the $36.2 million or the $11.5 million contingencies fund, this is fund that extra in cases things not going well. It sounds like something's going to happen in building 1890 building. Anyhow, so can we just, instead of in the contingency account, instead of 11.5, can we just put just $6 million in there? And then if they need it, come back, explain to us why they need it.
CFO Baldwin.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that would be a question best addressed by the construction manager.
Thank you.
Team.
Yep, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry, sir. I wanted to come up here just to.
The contingency fund, instead of $11.5 million, can we just do a $6 million and will the project still continue? And should you need extra to add up to 11.5, like for now $6 million, and then the other of $5.5 million later, if need be. Can you do that without and continue the project?
Sorry, if I could just address one comment that was previously made. The comment that Suffolk and the trade partners have not reduced the costs. I just wanted to say that in this round, no, but in the previous round, we had dropped 15%. So I do want to make that note. It's not that we've maintained the same number. We have dropped it. And then with the trade partners, those negotiations are still going on. So we don't want to communicate where we are with those negotiations. Not because it's public knowledge at that point. That's all I want.
How likely, you said the negotiations still going on, how likely that the trade partner is going to reduce?
Oh, very, very good. We've like drastically have reduced. So I just wanted to make that note that it's not finalized, but we're progressing exactly where we'd want to in communication with the city.
Will you
manager's
update
office.
us as to the progress of that when that come about?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And
then to your other question.
What?
I believe it's more of a cash flow question that we'd want to have, and the city manager's office would have to weigh in on that, on how that money is allocated, or at least requested and approved. Because what we don't want to do is have to be in construction and have to ask for more, and then there's a problem, and then all of a sudden the project doesn't have the money to keep flowing.
I see.
That's all.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, yes. To the OPM, Mr. Kane, if I may, I have a question for you as well. I know that Councilor Robinson asked you about the previous OPM. He's still around, is right? But you are the face of the OPM before this council, is that correct?
And in front of this council, with this council, and also with the school building committee, and any other entity that I'm working closely with Mr. Baldwin and city manager and the council here.
Right. How confident should we have on you that you will making sure that the OPM that be before this council before and still involved in the construction right now, that will do a good job that it's supposed to do?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
How confident how confident should we have in you? Because you're the face of this council. The previous OPM is there doing the work.
The previous OPM is our group.
That's right.
My company.
That's right.
Skanska.
That's right. I understand that.
Yes.
Yeah. It was horrible.
That's one person you're talking about?
That's right.
That person has a lot of knowledge to the project, as the city manager said, and from the beginning of the project, and I've worked on this project for 4 years with my group of Skanska, and we are working very hard to contain the cost of the project and move the project forward. And
that's not the assessment or the confidence this council have on the previous OPM. I got to tell you that.
Okay.
Also, if I may ask you this question, you said that the studies or engineers is working on do some study on the building 1890. Would you please provide us report as soon as you get to this council?
We will.
Thank you.
Councilor Mercier.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know that I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it anyway. I supported a brand-new school for our children, as thousands and thousands of other people did too, because I saw, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a psychic, but when you renovate and remodel buildings as old as 1892, there's bound to be things that you never expected would pop up or flood up or not be shored up, and that's why I supported it. But I took knowledge from people that would know much better than me. Having said that, I won't say any more about that unless you come back for more money, of which I won't support again. But I think where we're 75% almost there, that I will support this. I don't want to put the wrench in it when we're almost there. But I just want to say that we're gonna take a loan order for $36 million, and there's $2 million of unforeseen structural issues in the slab repairs in the 1892 building. Is that right?
It's roughly that amount.
Yes, and it's also included in the $36 million, right?
There are funds available for that, yes. In the
for that.
36 million, yes.
Right, okay. Now, I'm personally feeling there's more to be had with this to come back to us, but I'm talking about things that are happening over there that I'm not happy with. When I hear that a project team of 2 guys got stuck in an elevator for, I don't know, 2 hours, that's not appealing to me. I don't like that. And when we went on a tour Saturday, I thought of taking the elevator to the 3rd floor because I have a pacemaker. I said, no, I won't. I will not go in that elevator. I don't like to be claustrophobicized or whatever, right? I don't like it. So, and I understand that one of our gentlemen replaced a door lock, and it cost, out of the guy's budget, $1,200. I wish you would reimburse that budget, that he took that money out, because I don't think that our employees should have to take out of our school budget. So I would wish that you would pay him back. 4 elevators in the school have had issues since the 3 phases opened up. I'm not happy with the elevators constantly breaking down like this. There's so many individual problems, and I'm thinking that once you go, we're going to be stuck with these problems coming back, and that scares me. It's like me hiring a contractor in my house and everything is breaking. I want it all fixed because I'm afraid when they leave, they're going to break again. That's not fair to us. You're gone by then, and I don't want to be stuck like that for the people in this city. So there's issues that I'm concerned about right there. Having said that, this is the question I have. Even though I'm going to support it, because I don't want them to point the finger and say, well, Rita Mercia didn't get her way, so she's going to put the screws to this. I'm not. I'm going to support it. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to support it again. Now, am I right to believe that there's $11.5 million in the contingency? Is that true?
That's the number.
Remember that figure, because the other week, on Saturday, I went over to the tour of Lowell High School, and at the very end of the tour, Kevin, and you remember, you were there, because you're the one that said it, we were made aware that the beams that are held up the building, in 1892 building, that you don't know if they're reinforced with sister joints. Now, I'm not a carpenter or an engineer, but you remember making that statement? And you didn't know how many we'd probably need or if we need any. That's concerning me, because I hope if we do need them, that 11.5 million equals the sister joints that you need, because I don't want to see you come back here and I'm going to have to say no. I don't want to say no. I don't want to be the one that, because I will say, for your benefit, that what I have seen at Lowell High School is beautiful. We saw the theater, the auditorium, so many things are so beautiful, really beautiful. So, I mean, I can criticize, but I can also compliment, and I did see, I still wanted it at Colley, but you are doing a pretty good job that way, and I will support it, because we need 8 votes tonight. If we only have 7, I don't know where we're going. We're between a rock and a hard place, and Councilor Dakota said it. We're kind of up against the wall, and I don't want to put a wrench in it. I don't. So I'm going to support it, hoping my colleagues do, because I think it's that important. We're this far, 75%. I don't want to go backwards, but please don't come back again, okay? I like to be accommodating, but not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercia. Councilor Duran.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. First, through you to CFO Baldwin. Ms. Roach asked some questions that I think would be easy to answer, perhaps. One was whether the amount of the increase shown in your memo was in perpetuity or not, or would end, and then whether that covers everything, all projects in the city. And I think I know the answers, but I think it'd be helpful to hear.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I do apologize. I had a little difficulty hearing the speaker, but thank you for reframing the question, Councilor. The amounts to be added to the levy would be in perpetuity. So the answer to that question is yes. It is not sufficient to cover the entirety of the local share of the project. However,
What was framed in the memo to accompany the loan order was a projection of estimated tax increase to cover the additional $36 million, which approximately on the average single-family home assessed at about $500,000. It's about a $72 increase to the average single-family tax bill. And yes, that does continue on. The reason for that, and perhaps it bears mentioning that the way that we finance this is by issuing general obligation bonds. It's essentially like a loan, and so we would pay that debt service over time, over a 30-year period, and so until that debt was paid off, we'd be making payments towards that capital improvement over that period of time. I hope that provides some context and clarification.
Thank you. So the issue that Councilor Mercier mentioned that of potential concern in the 1892 building, if I have my numbers right, and the fact that we don't know the the financial impact of that yet, but we will, it sounds like soon, in a couple weeks perhaps. And maybe this is a question also for CFO Baldwin or Mr. Kane. If the council were to delay the vote today to know the full impact of that change, what would be the impact on the school project? And I'm just asking to understand the facts, not to encourage an increase, but just trying to understand given the potential scope of such an impact.
CFO Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and again for the questions from the council. So a number of concerns, difficult to predict in hypothetical scenarios. One, perhaps first and foremost, would be a cash flow issue on the project. And so part of the importance in funding the project is the receipt of reimbursements from the MSBA, as well as our ability to borrow. Our ability to borrow is limited by the original order. We can't exceed that without an amendment. That is what's before the council this evening. So it would be a concern at some point that there would be a cash flow issue on the project, and so there would need to either the work would need to pause, or there would be some there would have to be some discussion amongst the project team as to how to deal with that if that were the case.
And would you see that pause happening within the next couple of weeks? I guess that's really the question as we try to figure out what the cost really will be.
I don't have the cash position of the project in front of me. It wouldn't be today or tomorrow, but I would assume sometime within the fiscal year that would be a major concern. We did just do a borrowing, which is why this is sort of fresh in my mind. We did a bond issue just a few months back. So there is some cash for the project, but we are spending at a rapid pace to fund the construction. So sometime in the next few months, that would be a major concern.
If it's okay with Councilor Duran, Mr. Lyons would like to speak.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
I would just like to point out that while the known costs would be great, the nature of the contingency is to cover all of these contingency factors. So I wouldn't want to delay and then cause a project delay because, our trade partners have been looking, looking forward as we've been negotiating all these extension costs. We keep promising the same thing, that it's going to be next month, and we just want to make sure that we can move the process forward expeditiously to make sure that we don't cause a delay in the project that would then compromise the completion date of June of 2027.
Councilor Duran.
No, thank you.
Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe the comments by both Councilor Dakota and Mercier sums up the sentiments for each of the councilors here tonight. Whether the councilor vote yes or no, it's not really a vote of confidence, but it's just a reality that we are making a vote to move forward. We are so deep into this project that if we don't move forward, the delay, the time's going to cost even more, which is really is a terrible game to play with the city, to play with the families and the students in the city here, that they have us really, that we have no choice but to move forward. So I will support this, but along with the other councils mentioned before, I think it's going to be really, really difficult if they were to come back for more money and so forth. The only questions that I have, maybe along the same lines Councilor Mercier was getting to, by the end of this project, it's going to be over $400 million. And I've had a tour of the Lowell High School a couple of times, and there were areas that were completed that was not satisfactory, to the kids, to us visiting. It doesn't look like it's completed. I'm not looking at the whole project's complete project, but the money that's put into it, there's some damages. They're just not good quality. And in a smaller project with private individuals, if the contractor would not do something up to the satisfaction of the homeowners, they would fix it at their own cost. But my understanding is like if they go back and at the Lowell High School, if they were to go back and do it, they would charge us again. So my ask is, through you, Mr. Mayor, to the project manager, when you're close to being done, if there were items that just not built to look like a high school that's over $400 million, would you be able to go back and complete them, make sure it's satisfaction? Would we be able to look at it and review it and approve it before you just say it's done? Is there like a process in place that the city council, the administration, that we would actually have to approve the final product? Not that you're done, not that you have spent the money and that's it, there you go. Is there a process in place like that?
Mr. Kane?
Yes, there is a process in place. You mentioned one thing, damages. We can't control the damages, but what we can control, what we have to control is the quality. So everything that is completed has met the satisfactory requirements of like both quality, quality control. I mean, everything that is currently not on a punch list has been deemed satisfactorily completed.
Mr. Kane, well, I like Mr. Lyons. You're the OPM who speaks for us, and we'd like to hear it from you and not from the construction person. Answer those questions about the quality and the inspection oversight that Councilor Chow just asked. I think that's a question to you and not the construction contractor.
Suffolk completed the work. We are overseeing with the architects reviews of punch list, creating punch list. First off, in the process, the construction manager creates a work to complete list that gets turned into work completed, and then the architect works the punch list. So there's a process of meeting the quality, and that all kind of lands with the architect, who sets the standard, confirms the details, and that sort. So we're doing all that we can to get the quality up. There are some areas that need to be completed, yes. As you mentioned, certain areas around the property need to be completed. The quality of the work is paramount to all of us, to have it look good, quality, and last.
Okay, thank you for that. And tonight I'm not really go say one by one the items that we're not satisfied with, but all of us had a tour of the high school at least one time. If you talk about quality, I think everybody have noticed that it wasn't there. There's some areas, I tell you, it's beautiful, it's great, but not every item, and these are major items too, that was just it wasn't the quality that any town or city anywhere pay this type of money would want to see, or even an individual family pay for some project to be done at their home would be satisfied with. So I like to have that be a note that, and there's a process in place before the project complete and they move on. We would like to have that presentation for the approval process, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilor Chow. Councilor Yang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's hard. I mean, I was on this train since the beginning, and it hasn't stopped since, and I like to see this train stop. When I hear that there's going to be more coming and trying to get additional support in terms of money, I go back to why I run in the first place, where an acre is one of the poorest neighborhood. Now I'm stuck in between the opportunity for the kid and also these poor parents that's going to get more money out of them. And it's hard. And if I know that there's more support or more requests coming in, I'm not voting for it. I mean, at this point, it's really hard to see that it just keep bleeding and bleeding, and it needs to stop, and we have to complete this project. And I inclined to not support this, but at the same time, I like the opportunity to finish this. And I don't want to see any more requests. If it does, I'm a definite no on that, because this is not, we have the highest unemployment rate, you know, within, I guess, the surrounding city and towns. And people are really hurting out there, and this is not something that I like to see. And so I'll support this, but at the same time, I will not support another round of money that people are really hurting out there, and this cannot continue. It needs to stop. Thank you.
Councilor Scott.
Thank you. Through you to the manager, I guess my question is around the idea of waiting until the final phase comes through. So 2 members rejected the loan order last time. They came back with $3 million in cuts. My question is, I don't know if it is too much of a delay. You said a couple weeks to hold off. Are we in a better kind of a negotiating stance, I guess, by doing the whole package and finishing it all out in one loan order? That would be my question. Thank you.
Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. Council, I think logistically, I believe it's 6 to 8 weeks when we from start to finish on these loan orders. My fear out of the gate would be we would run out of money and cash to keep this project going. So if we didn't move forward today, I'm not saying that there won't be another ask. I don't have a crystal ball, nor do I know. They're still trying to uncover what the problem could have been, I believe, in 1995. So the issue that we have before us, the way I see it, is it's a cash flow issue. We need to continue to move forward so the people that are working the project every day are paid. Once again, is it 6 weeks to 8 weeks? Yeah. You know, the best way I could describe it is when the city goes out for a loan, it's similar to when you go for a loan for a home. When you go for a loan for a home, it takes anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. Same for the city, probably 4 to 8 weeks. So if we waited another 2, we got to wait another 8. The cash flow position would be, I would think that would be a problem. That could cause an issue overall. Mr. Kane?
Yeah, I just want to try to make a little clarity on contingency. That money funds be available when we find an issue, we address a problem that is found, like the structural steel, which we're evaluating it. It could not cost anything to the project, or it could cost some money to the project. Either way, and the contingency is there to support what a fund that if there's funding required to take care of a problem or an issue, or add something that the school might want if there's availability for that. But that's another contingency. But the idea would be is that there's not, it's a fund that we would draw from. And what we do in our work is we minimize the cost of changes with subcontractors. We evaluate, we trim the costs to get the right cost for the owner, the city. That's what we do. So, I mean, to have, it's a fund that's there. Do we spend it all? Maybe not. Do we have enough? We hope so. That's where we're at with the funding of the project. And that structural issue that we pointed out on Saturday that was talked about, that's an issue that's being reviewed and evaluated by the engineers, structural engineers, and we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. No, I understand the way the contingency works. We just haven't had the best track record so far on this project to have confidence that we're going to have excess money left in the contingency. So thank you.
Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I'd like to, through you to the city manager, again, for clarification, before any vote is taken, what does this ask, this portion that's before us tonight, how does that impact our taxpayers at home over the next 3 years? Percentage-wise on residential property taxes, just this piece?
Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. Thank you, Council. I think when we last had this discussion, we talked off the rip, and it's very important for everyone to remember this. Over the next 3 years, this project started in 2014, okay? So we are now 12 years into this, and there's a whole host of reasons. The MSBA takes time. It's just a lot of time. So to answer your question, the administration will be looking forward, or moving forward, with approximately a 1.6% increase in taxes over the next 3 years. So what I'm calling 1.6% is a baseline, And baseline right now at 1.6 will bring in approximately $2.8 million. Work with me a little bit on that. $2.8 million, $88 million. This project, now, it's important to remember that the MSBA, we talk about an 80% reimbursement. But the truth of the matter is, and I'm not knocking our friends at the state, not one bit, that number will float anywhere between 60% to, say, 66%. So being as cautious as we can, we're going to say it's a 60-40 split at the end of the day. The 60% split is, once again, approximately $280 million, which is being paid by the MSBA. The remainder of the 420 would be 140 million. And for us not to know that, it's simply because we're waiting on reimbursements from the MSBA. But our best estimate would be 140 to 280. 280 from the MSBA, which is picked up by the 1% tax on the sales. The 140 will be borne by the residents and the property taxes. Now, to get to that $11.5 million over the next 3 years, yes, in 2012, we could have started putting money away. We could have, we didn't. We could have done it in 2014, 2016, all the way to today. But now, with the bond coming due, and the bond will be in full effect in, we're in fiscal year 2027, it'll be 2030, when all of the costs will now become real. That will be the reason that the administration is going to come to the council over the next 3 terms and say 1.6, 1.6, 1.6, off the rip, to use your word, Councilor. I want to be very clear to the residents that that does not include the cost of paper towels. That does not include the cost of oil, gas, any type of contractual obligations we have with our employees. So you can just look at the basics of 1.6 and possibly a 3. So that is a real 4.6, 4.8% number. To get to the 11.5%, and you're going to have to give me a little bit of wiggle room on the dollars there, just because of our return from the MSBA, an approximately $11.5 million cash outlay every year for the next 30 years, 30-year notes, to pay off the cost of a new high school. New high school, downtown, any place. We made this decision back in 2014. Many of you did not. Many of you were not here. However, the costs are coming due, and that's where we're at. I think that, and I appreciate the question, Councilor, because I try to be as clear on this as possible. This is not a 1-year problem. This is a 3-year problem. But it's something that we all want to see happen. The residents of Lowell voted. The disagreement we had was on location. And we could go down that road, but we can't. We're here. We're trying to get this completed. And my strong suggestion, once again, to the council, having been involved a little bit in construction over the past 20-plus years, we need to move forward and close this thing out and hold everybody accountable. I hope that answers your question. And I appreciate the question, Councilor, because we need to tell the caller today that had that question. That's a real number. And myself, you probably saw myself and the CFO going back and forth and making sure, even once again, that our numbers are correct. That 1.6% plus the other increases will bring us in and around that $8.6 to $9 million, and the other 2 we're already paying for with other increases. So when people look at the tax structure, This is because this is the largest project that the city of Lowell has ever taken on, that I know about, to the tune of about $145 million.
And do you mind just please, that 1.6 percentage
Yes.
is the equivalent of what dollar amount about?
The 1.6 percentage would be equivalent to 74, excuse me. Oh, the dollar amount would be $2.8 million. I apologize.
So a 1.6% increase
Yes,
is
the
about
1.6%.
$2.8 million in
Correct.
generated tax revenue from our public.
That's correct. So the 2.8 will immediately be taken to pay off the debt. Next year's 2.8 would get us to 5.76. I got my math majors back there. And then, the 5.76 plus another, call it $3 million, to get us to about I think we have it roughed out about $8.8 million. But remember, this council, previous councils, we're not just doing the status quo, we're moving forward on still roadway projects, et cetera. When we are done on debt at the end of this, and once again, this will be an approximate, we're probably going to be putting out $22 to $23 million. I'm not going to ask the CFO this because he's more particular on exact dollar figures, but we're going to be about $22 to $23 million in cash payments, mortgage payments, which, give or take, 12 million-ish to 13 million will be for everything that we've been doing for MSBA, for MSB ARP, and for all of the projects that we've been doing within the school system in the past 4 years. When we first got here, I have to tell you, and I hate to keep saying this, but we had calls every single day about heating systems not working, heating systems not being worked. Now I'm talking about the grand piece of what's been happening. This is all part of it, and it's in that tune of about $12 to $13 million cash of about $22 million of our debt. And when people start to think about that, that sounds like an awful lot of money, because it is. But we're operating on a $618 million budget in a city that has 114,000 residents, in a city that has 256 miles of roadway, in a city that has 29 schools, in a city that has another 30 public buildings. And in this council and the previous councils have made the decisions to, quite frankly, not get phone calls every day. And some of you were here when this was happening. No heat, no hot water, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is aggressive. This is difficult. And, to the taxpayer, it'll be 72, give or take $72, I think the number is, per year, just to go towards the high school over the next 3 years, provided each council wants to endorse the plan of what we're trying to accomplish.
And I think that's very important what you just said. For each household, it's an average of about $72
$500,000. I apologize.
increase per year.
Correct.
For the next 30 years.
Oh, that's correct, sir. Yes.
And that's just for this overage piece. That's not for any other bills that we have to pay for the city. It's just this overage piece. So that was the initial question I asked is,
Right.
is
The
what is the
1.6%
impact?
of the next 3 years, if accepted by this council and future councils, will pay the debt service for the entire high school. Well, it'll be darn close, let me say that. As everybody knows, we haven't been shy about raising revenue on this side, but over the next 3 years, we're down this road. 1.6, 1.6, 1.6 will equate out to, call it, on a $500,000 home, to about $80, $240 over the next 3 years of an increase, which will go towards the debt service for just the high school. The rest of it, the ARP programs that we just put forward, I think we just put out $2.6 million. It's about, it's $2.6 million, I got that one, which is going to probably, it's going to go after another 6 schools.
Maybe $28, $30 million.
Yeah, it's going to be about $28, $30 million to go after yet another 6 schools on things that we need: windows, doors, roofs, et cetera. And that'll be, once again, an 80-20 split, which is how the Commonwealth of Massachusetts says it. But the real cost at the end of the day will end up anywhere between, I wish I could tell you, 60 to 67%, depending on how they'll accept. So this is something, the time to pay the bills, it's coming due. It's extremely difficult for people to hear this. But this is something we've wanted since 2014. We've all agreed we need a new high school. We're moving forward. We're moving forward, I believe, on MSB ARP program, the Accelerated Repair Program. And that's how we're tackling all of our middle school. We're not leaving anybody behind here. We're not just doing the high school and forgetting everybody else. We're going through new roofs over at the Pawtucket Memorial, new window, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can list them off. But I appreciate the opportunity, Council, truthfully. I don't want anyone to think that this is going to be easy over the next 3 years off the rip, which is, I love that comment. But the 1.6 baseline, and then the cost of, I say, paper towels, et cetera, 2.5% higher, or 3, whatever the case may be.
And that's pretty standard with municipalities, especially those employed in that area. Pretty much COLA, 2.5%, 3% increase for cost of living, in addition to this 1.6. So whatever that inflation and cost of doing business percentage looks like, that 1.6 is already spoken for at least for the first, whatever percentage is hitting the table for the council.
That's correct. That's correct, Council. If the cost of doing business goes up 3%, then it would be 3 plus 1.6 is be 4.6%. And once again, this is uncomfortable. People are talking about it. People are at home wincing. This is hard. This is difficult stuff. It really, truly is. But, at the end of the day, we're trying to right some of the issues, the past, the heating, the air conditioning, the windows, the doors, the roofs, the leaking. We can't have it. We need, as a city, to provide the best schools, 29 of them, 29 schools. That's 29 heating systems. Probably it's more than 29 heating systems. Everybody knows that. But we need to bring these up to par, and we need to move into the future.
Thank you very much for your response, and I think it's glaringly clear that I think we need to not only figure out how to foot this and get this to the finish line, but we need a serious plan for the upkeep and maintenance long term. So thank you.
Vice Mayor Noon, if you would take the chair for a minute. Thank you, Vice Mayor. If you look at this project, we all have had an opportunity to look at it. From the start, we had a project manager who stood up here and told us they knew everything. We listened to them, and if they were right, the MSBA would have covered 67%, somewhere in there, roughly 70%, somewhere in there. But they were wrong all the way through. And they sat here and told the public that in public meetings, and the videos are there. The thing that's disheartening is the smoke and mirrors that's going on right now. He's still doing the same work, except he doesn't have to stand up here like Mr. Kane does and do that. We're still entrusting the same people, or we would have had a lot more money back from the MSBA. That's the hard thing for this council to take, and you see it. We've had multiple councilors stand here and say, why we have the same person in place at the same thing, except he just doesn't have to explain it. He's still doing the same function at that high school as he did from the very beginning of this project. Institutional knowledge is subjective. If you're a PE, I would hope you can understand how to read those things and get these things done, or an architect. The problem is that we're doing the same thing over and over again as someone else had said. It's like looking for someone with 40 years experience and hiring someone who has 1 year experience 40 times and doesn't ever get to 40 years experience. And then hiding him behind a curtain so he doesn't have to stand up here and listen to us. I do agree with Councilor Duran and many of the other speakers here. We're at a state where we have to fund it. 67% of it, or roughly a good number of it, should have been reimbursed by the MSBA, and that's what we rely on you, Mr. Golden, Manager Golden, to go and try to get us our money. But at this point of the project, through you, Mr. Vice Mayor, to CFO Baldwin, I never really heard a very clear answer. If we continued this for 1 week, just so we can figure out what is going on with the piece they just found, would that have an impact on the function of funding? If tonight 6 people on this council agreed to continue this for 1 week, same thing comes back, except we have another portion that we just found known, would that impact the financial situation of this project?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. One week would not make a huge difference. There is, although if I may, Mr. Vice Chair, there are additional logistics. So assuming there's a week that a final cost could be brought back, I expect it would be a little bit longer than that. But we would have to restart the clock for the loan order, meaning the legal requirements reset. We have to advertise, do a first reading, public hearing again for the revised amount if there is one. And then it resets the referendum period as well. And so that kicks us, if we were to bring it back next week, that would be the first reading. 2 weeks later would be the public hearing, and then there's a 20-day period when it has to sit in the clerk's office pending clearing the referendum. Is that a cash flow problem? I can't sit here and tell you today that it is not. I think we could make it a little bit further. I can't say without doing a better analysis, and it would be irresponsible for me to tell you one way or the other without doing that analysis. So it's very difficult to answer that in the way that I think you're expecting, Mr. Mayor. But it is the sort of opinion of the administration that the cash is needed as soon as possible to continue the project at its current trajectory. So I hope that's helpful information.
No, it was definitely helpful. I think I heard Council Liang say he's not going to support it if it goes up after tonight. I think Council Robinson has stated the same thing. At the end of the day, I don't like people that don't tell me the truth up front and then have to deal with them behind a curtain because they don't want to be brought up here. That's the hard part to take. You said something in public, here we are for how many years, a couple years now watching overages. And that's the hard part. And then they don't, we move them behind a curtain. We don't really ever remove anybody, but we just put them behind a curtain. And that's the hard part for me to take, is that somebody who was dishonest from the beginning, let me strike that, wasn't dishonest, just didn't know what he was talking about when he was talking about it in the renovation piece. We knew all the asbestos in the building at that time, and we can play back the videos that say they were saying this in public. We knew all the issues with this building. There was going to be very few. The contingency at that time we were assured was going to cover it. I can see the first 38 million because of the COVID issue and the rising prices. Now that we've pushed the project further, I can see how costs are going up because all of us are feeling it at home with the energy and everything else, and they got to build all these things that come into play. So tonight I'll support it because I want what's best for the students over there. It's against everything in my body to stand up there and support this. But I will because, as we look forward, these costs are ours now, and I'm hoping that Manager Golden and our state delegation can come up with something and get to the governor or get to the MSBA and get us something back. And that's the hope I have for the taxpayers. I don't want to talk about the money because I'm hoping we get money back like Senator Kennedy did. So that's my 2 cents, Mr. Vice Mayor. Thank you.
Now that you get it off your chest, you can go back here.
So just to be clear for the public, this vote will take 8 votes to pass. Motion to adopt and refer to the clerk's office for 20 days by Councilor Duran, seconded by Councilor Dakota. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Councilor Duran.
Yes.
Councilor Liang.
Yes.
Councilor McDonough. Councilor Mercier.
Yes.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
No.
Councilor Rourke.
Yes.
Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Councilor Chow.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Councilor Getchia.
Yes.
10 yeas. 8 yeas. 9 yeas.
8 yeas. 9 yeas, I'm sorry. Going back to the city council motions. 5.1, Councilor Duran, Councilor Scott, request neighborhood subcommittee work with the administration to create a schedule of reports to be provided to the administration, to the council, from the administration to the council and residents on an annual, quarterly, and monthly basis. The motion does not need a second. Councilor Duran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our residents really crave information. They're interested in understanding how our city works and what it's doing. And obviously, watching these meetings is one way for residents to learn what's going on and find out how they can get further engaged. But I think they and the city council would like to know what kind of reports we can get on a regular basis. I think that will help the administration by not requiring it to have to scramble when a motion is put on for a particular report, but also help residents in the administration, residents in the council to know what will be coming up. I think it will allow the council to focus its attention on key matters, but also allow the administration to plan its time. And, you know, residents have provided thoughts on reports they might consider. I have a whole list of things for us to consider, ranging from paving to status of the ICC and others. But I think this is really an opportunity for there to be a dialogue and not a demand between residents and the administration on what kind of information is useful to the public and what can be provided without burdening the staff. So sending this to the neighborhood subcommittee would allow residents to make suggestions about the kind of reports that might be of interest to them, what kind of detail would be useful, as well as what kind of frequency would be beneficial, but ensuring that, again, there is a dialogue with the administration, so this is not a demand, but a collaborative effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Duran. Councilor Scott.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to thank Councilor Duran for including me on this motion. I think it's a good step in transparency and communication for residents, and also with the council. There's a lot of reports that have come up over time, the 311 reports, street sweeping schedules, the homeless reports on the homeless conditions, open work orders. So I think this is a good way to centralize it, put it all in, you know, where we all agree this is the criteria, quarterly, monthly, whatever it is. And I think it's a good step forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Scott.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a
Councilor
motion
Robinson.
to suspend the rules and take 5.9 out of order, please?
Motion by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor McDonough, to take
Oh.
5.9 out of
Mr.
order.
Mayor, while you at it, if you can take 5.6, I think also along with it, 5.6, I know Councilor Chow has some of the motion, 5.11, and you, Mr. Mayor, have 5.15 after Councilor Robinson suspend rule anyway. So, thank you.
And Mr. Mayor, just to go back to 5.1, I believe we have to pass the motion. Before,
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun on taking it out of order.
Thank you. Motion to take 5.8 out of, 5.9 out of order?
Pass 5.1.
No, we got to get 5.1 done. I jumped the gun before you asked for the
Motion to
vote
approve
on motion 5.1 first.
We don't normally have to, you want to vote?
Okay, yeah, so my motion then would have been take motion 5.9 out of order. 5.9 about the garage.
Seconded by Councilor Rourke. 5.9, Council McDonough. Request city manager have the proper department provide a report to the council on ADA compliance of city-owned garages, specifically detailing any repairs or improvements needed to ensure that our public garages are accessible to all Lowell residents and visitors. Second by Councilor Robinson. Councilor McDonough.
There is a registered speaker, Mr. Mayor. Or the registered speaker to go for.
Yep.
Brady McCarron.
Good evening, Mayor Goodchair, Manager Golden, members of the City Council and City Administration. My name's Brady McCarron. I'm a downtown resident at 172 Middle Street and park in the Market Street Garage. I'm here tonight to speak in support of Councilor McDonough's motion regarding a report on ADA compliance and improvements for city-owned garages. As someone who pays nearly $100 a month at the resident rate, I believe residents and visitors deserve facilities that are safe, functional, and accessible to everyone. Right now, the elevator in the Market Street Garage has been out of service, and at no point were monthly pass holders notified. From a transparency standpoint, that's unacceptable. Residents should not have to discover accessibility barriers only after they've already paid for a service that they can't fully use. The parking department should be proactive in communicating outages and providing clear timelines for repairs. Many residents have asked staff in the parking office inside the garage for updates, only to be told there's a part on order with no estimated timeline. The lack of clarity makes it challenging for residents, especially those with mobility issues, to plan their daily routines. For many downtown residents, including elderly and those with physical limitations, the garages are not just a convenience, they're the only practical option. Street parking is very limited by the number of available spaces and strict time restrictions. And realistically, first floor parking at the Market Street Garage is extremely rare unless you arrive at the perfect time. While I'm fortunate enough to be able to make the stairs to the upper levels, many people parking in this garage cannot. There are numerous vehicles in the garage that appear to not have been moved in months, covered in layers of dust. This raises questions about enforcement and whether active monthly pass holders are being pushed to higher levels or in inaccessible conditions because of spaces being occupied by an assumed abandoned vehicle. By failing to maintain accessible garages, we are doing a disservice to not only the downtown residents, but to also our downtown businesses, many of which are struggling and depend on visitors having safe and accessible parking. I urge the City Council to ensure ADA compliance, routine maintenance, and transparent communication become standard practices moving forward. Residents and visitors deserve public parking facilities that are accessible, safe, and managed with accountability. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCarron. Councilor McDonough.
I don't know if I have much that can be said that Brady did not say. This came from a number of resident complaints and concerns. I took a walk again. Oh, it's back. I don't know. Okay. Well, I took a walk before I could have taken another walk during the last section of the council debate, but I went out before the meeting instead. The Downs garage also has 2 broken elevators. What I appreciate about the broken elevators and the Downs garage, though, is that there seems to be there's a flyer up. It details exactly what's wrong, and it explains to people what's going on. I still think it's a big ask to ask someone to have the golf cart come pick them up to get them from a top floor, but there's a workaround. In the Roy garage, that has not been the case. And then beyond the elevators, a frequent, just thinking about moving through the garages with a wheelchair or a stroller or any kind of mobility challenge. Sometimes in some garages, like the Roy garage, that pathing puts you going straight through the dumpster room, which then becomes an obstruction. So that's all, sorry. Thinking about accessibility in the garages. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Well, we're under suspension of rules. Motion by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Chow to take 5.6, motion 5.6, motion 5.11, and 5.15 out of order. 5.6, Councilor Noon requests city manager work with the appropriate department to install iron railings on the University Ave Bridge. 5.11, Councilor Chow requests city manager work in coordination with the Department of Public Works, the Lowell Police Department, the Mass DOT, and any other relevant state or regional authorities to evaluate and pursue the installation of suicide prevention measures, including but not limited to physical barriers, safety netting, or other proven deterrent infrastructure on bridges within the city of Lowell where such incidents have occurred or present a demonstrated public safety concern. 5.15, Mayor Getchia requests city manager send a letter to the state requesting immediate action to safeguard the railings on the Richard P. Howe Senior Bridge. No second needed. Councilor Noon. Oh, I'm sorry, second needed for each one. Councilor Noon and seconded by Councilor Chow. Councilor Chow.
I defer to the Vice Mayor Nguyen to go first if he would like.
Thank you, Councilor Chow. I think we do have speaker, right? Do we?
Do you have any registered speakers on those?
Registered speaker? You don't, okay.
Good evening.
Well, we
yes,
don't
no?
have a registered speaker. Would somebody make a motion to suspend the rules for the speakers?
I move to suspend the rule to allow.
Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor McDonough.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Councilor Noon for his motion and the associated motions by Councilor Chow and Councilor Getchier for this important motion, and also
If
the
we could
rest of the
just
council.
State our name.
Paulette Renault Karajanis, 84 Beach Street in Lowell. Sorry.
Thank you.
This important matter that impacts families, our neighbors, our friends, and our workmates. To start with, I want to give you some information about suicide, and please truly forgive me if you know this information already. The CDC consistently reports the impact of suicide in the United States. It's the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and the second most frequent cause of death for youth and young adults aged 10 to 35. Suicide has often been characterized as a forever solution to what are often temporary, albeit very, very, very difficult problems. While some suicides are deliberate and involve careful planning, many have been hastily decided upon, involving little or no planning and acting on impulse. A study cited by the T.H. Chan School of Public Health provided an overview of interviews with 153 survivors of nearly lethal suicide attempts in people aged 13 to 34. They were asked how much time passed between the time you decided to complete a suicide and you actually attempted suicide. A quarter of the people that they interviewed who survived a suicide said it took them 5 minutes to make that decision. Another almost quarter said 5 to 19 minutes. Another almost quarter said 20 minutes. And another 16% said between 2 and 8 hours between thinking about a suicide and attempting it. When we do something, and we can do something, to prevent someone impulsively jumping off a bridge, we are interrupting what is an attempt as lethal as suicide by gunshot. These two most lethal means share a common element. Once you pull a trigger or jump from any significant height, there is no going back. The American Federation for Suicide Prevention endorses bridge barriers and other means reduction measures for the same reason. Interrupting and deterring what is often impulsive behavior provides time for a struggling person to get past the intense and often brief moments of a suicidal crisis. When we do something to prevent suicide by decreasing access to means, which would mean additional metal work on our bridges or other sorts of measures, we are saving someone's child, someone's parent, someone's spouse, by limiting the opportunity to act on an impulsive thought of ending their problems, not often their life, but their problems, by jumping off the bridge. I have lost someone by suicide in my life, and I am here to tell you that if you haven't, that losing someone you love to suicide leaves so many lingering questions and scars that never go away. People wonder if they could have done something different to help, question whether they could have done something. It's awful. I hope that you haven't been through this. Sorry. I want to be clear that this isn't solely in reaction to the recent incidents on the Howe Bridge, but because we own the Howe Bridge, we have a lot of control over it. And it's a huge pedestrian crossing, and anyone who's walked over the Howe Bridge knows that, it's kind of, you can develop a little vertigo just kind of looking over the side. Imagine if you maybe were someone not necessarily struggling, but someone who might have had a couple of drinks or another substance, and you lean over. It doesn't even have to be.
Ms. Garaganis?
Yes?
We got a 3-minute.
Yep, I'm done. I'm almost done. So we are a vibrant, artistic city, and surely can find the money and talent to add this simple means reduction structures to the Howe Bridge. We can find an aesthetically pleasing way to do it. If art is the handmaiden of human good, let's show how good we are and how much we care about our community and put up some beautiful barriers that'll prevent suicide. While we're at it, let's add some signage letting people know what's available when they're struggling. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, we build bridge for people to safely cross. It's not for people.
Oh,
Sorry, can I take the 50 seconds from Paulette that you have left over? I'm
George,
sorry,
just
so
say
my
your
name is
and
Kier.
Address for the record.
Hi, I'm Kira Wu. I live on 155 Humphrey Street. Just really quick, just to add, I lived here for 6 years, going on 7, and just within the 12 months, I know of 2 suicidal at this bridge on University Ave, and that's too much. So I don't want to share too much, but I also lost a family member recently. And while we cannot control people's thoughts and actions, we can work on putting a prevention in place to make it impossible for them to do it. Paulette mentioned that 5 minutes, maybe that 5 minutes of them trying to climb up there, when it's harder, it will help them. Maybe they will get a phone call from a parent or a children, something that will give them another thought to live on. And we don't want Lowell to have the reputation of the suicidal bridge, right? When they, when folks Google UMass Lowell or Lowell to come live here, we don't want this bridge to pop up and, as the result on the top of the list. We don't want that reputation, so I am in favor. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's try this again. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank Kia and Paulette for coming to speak on this important issue, concern, and also express my sorry for their loss as well, friend and family. Look, I said earlier that we build bridge for people to cross safely. We not build for people to jump to their death. And just recently, too many. We need to do something about it. I think we can try to prevent more death in this. I don't know what we can do, but I entrust on the managers and his team to work with all other stakeholders, either be university, Mass DOT, and other, to make sure that we do something, put an iron, steel, or rail on top of it, or do something so that we don't hear from you, 3 o'clock in the morning or 10 p.m. at night and said someone jumped off the bridge. Jump to their death. We may not, Mr. Manager, Mr. Mayor, we may not totally prevent 100% of people who want to kill themselves, but at least those immediate impulse, if we can do it, and maybe they, 2 minutes or 3 minutes after that, they can't jump because of the rail on top of it is so high enough, or maybe the stainless steel net, so to speak, and that they're not going to die. So they walk away and they got some help. So I think, this could be our family members, our friends, our resident. Let's do something about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and also I want to thank Paulette, and I want to say your celebrity name, Care Bear, for coming to speak tonight on this very, very important issue. First, I want to send my prayers and deepest condolences to the families affected by the recent tragic incidents on the Howe Street, on the Howe Bridge. These events are heartbreaking, and they remind us of the urgent responsibility we all share to protect our community. Bridges are part of our daily lives, yet some have become sites of repeated tragedy. The Golden Gate Bridge saw about 30 suicides each year before installing a safety net. After the net was built, death at the bridge dropped dramatically, near complete prevention. Toronto's Bloor Street Viaduct, I don't know if I say that correctly in French, Viaduct Bridge, saw a similar decline after a dedicated barrier was installed. These examples show clearly that proven physical measures work and they save lives. Today, we have 3 motions calling for Mass DOT to evaluate and pursue similar interventions on bridges where incidents have occurred or where there is a clear public safety risk in coordination with DPW and the Lowell Police. The Howe Bridge is a Mass DOT maintained bridge. Our role as a city is to formally request action, document the safety risk, and ask Mass DOT for a safety evaluation and installation of suicide prevention measures. Together, with all the councilors supporting these motions, we have the chance to partner with the governor's administration to save lives and make our bridges safe for everyone. We cannot wait for another life to be lost. Every life we protect is a life we honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Chow. Council Liang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you to all 3 folks here that put this motion together. Our city is not too healthy. Our residents constantly living in worries about food, rent, immigration, enough money for tomorrow. Sometimes not only adult, but this feeling feeds off to the children from their parents as well. I just said also that our unemployment rate in the city is the highest among the surrounding city. Our resident, young and old, definitely needs help, especially in the area of mental health. In addition to these important motions, I'm asking the city manager with urgency to work with LPD and start patrolling these bridges, and work with the health department, WinFund, Greater Lowell Health Alliance, and other 501c3 to design a program, the Bridge Safety Patrol Unit, that work 24 hours 7 at all 6 bridges around our city, as well display and poster about messages of hope and healing and mental health. Sometimes we forget that a simple hello, a handshake, or a smile can save somebody's life. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Liang. Council Robinson.
Thank you. Through you to the Mr. Manager, with the bridges, I know they're state constructed. What are they, city managed? I mean, this one is the bridge that's in mention, and again, I think it's a great motion to look at preventative measures, especially physical barriers with this. Have we, or can we please attempt to reach out to the university? Because a lot of the high pedestrian foot traffic in this area is university. And so, I mean, if they'd be willing to work with us on this, I think it'd be huge. Thank you.
Manager Golan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Through to the council. Council is it's a terrible tragedy. I don't particularly care to text folks, especially all of you. It's difficult. It's extremely difficult, and we have a lot going on. And the prayers and thoughts, and the sympathy and the empathy for the folks that are in this situation. But I did talk with the university right after it unfortunately happened, and the university is in the process of trying to take some corrective action. We'll be talking to the Mass DOT, and yes, it is true that this, typically how bridges work, and this isn't all of them. We have over 60 bridges in the city. When a complete reconstruction is started or done, like the Rourke Bridge or the O'Donnell Bridge, the state comes in and pays for it and then gives us care and custody, similar to what we've been doing with the Aiken Street Bridge and the Cox Bridge and the Willette Bridge. I can go on and on, the Hunts Falls Bridge. There are a lot of crossings here in the city of Lowell, and I'm going to be asking Mass DOT to see what they can recommend. We have the new Rourke Bridge obviously coming up as well. But to Council Liang's point about mental health and assistance, this is something that we just need to continue to work with. We've been working obviously hand in glove with Lowell Community Health Center. VinFen is really starting to make a difference, but this is something that is, this tragedy it really tears at your heart. So we'll continue to work with UMass Lowell. I want to say thank you very much because that call came in from UMass Lowell asking that we partner with them and with signage, et cetera. But I'll be talking to Mass DOT to find out what the best preventative measures would be. There are some ideas. I know that Assistant City Manager Rose had talked about this, some ideas about how we could turn it into an artist piece while still enjoying the view. But I know there are signs up there right now that talk about this measure and asking people to reconsider it, and sometimes signs just aren't enough. But we'll continue to work through this extremely sad situation, and I would hope to never have to, as you all know, send you the news that this happens again. So however we can work with Mass DOT, however they consider it, and from our artists, we have a lot of artists, steel artists, things like that we can maybe make a difference. So we'll take all three of these motions and try to figure out how we can make a difference, but also speak with VinFen, et cetera, to find out how we can stop this very random, throughout the day, throughout the hours, throughout the minutes. This is an extremely sad situation, but we'll put our best foot forward on this.
Thank you, Manager Golden. 5.2, Councilor Durand, Councilor Rourke. Request Front Runner City Program Subcommittee and City Administration meet regularly to discuss Front Runner City activities and plans and report back to the City Council. No second needed. Councilor Durand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since celebrating the designation of Lowell as the first U.S. frontrunner city, I know that the city administration, under the guidance of our city manager and our head of our Department of Planning and Development, have moved forward with the initiative. Residents are excited to participate in this initiative and want to learn more about it. And so I would ask that the Front Runner City Program Subcommittee, led by Dan Rourke, who took the initiative and made the connections that made the designation and the initiative happen, that the subcommittee meet regularly, whether that be monthly or on some other appropriate schedule, to help both guide and interact with Manager Golden and DPD head Baez Rose to ensure that the initiative moves forward, and also to ensure that the residents of Lowell know what's going on and what the costs and benefits will be. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Durand. Councilor Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, it's a good motion. Also, Mr. Manager, I know you have plans to get out into the city, the neighborhoods, to discuss the program and possibilities.
Mr. Manager.
Would that be correct, Councilor?
Okay, so whether you want to bring those to the neighborhoods or you want to just have your team do it, we can report back here on a semi-monthly basis and go over it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Rourke. 5.3, Councilor Noon, request city manager update city council on the Downtown Business Improvement District, seconded by Councilor McDonough. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This Downtown Business Improvement District has been on the work for, I say, a good 2 years. So it's under the leadership of Assistant City Manager Giovanni Baez, and particularly her staff, Ali Carter's, has been working hard on this, and so I know that Ali will have a report on this, and I want to also thank the city managers for put up an installment on this project so that this project can go forward. So report on this, update report on this of progress. I know at some point it's going to be a signing of all the property owners on this. So report on this would be helpful, and if report can be sent to the downtown economics subcommittee, that would be a great thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Councilor McDonough.
I'm good. I was sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to ask that it be referred to the Economic Development Subcommittee, and Councilor Noon beat me to it.
Thank you. 5.4, Councilor Noon, request city manager have the fire and police chiefs schedule recruitment events at different locations across the city for the purpose of reaching more candidates to recruit for the Lowell Fire and Police Departments. Set events to include notification to the City Council when civil service events are scheduled, including the districts where said meetings will be held. Seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Noon.
Mr. Mayor, the motion speaks for itself.
Thank you. Sakari smiling. 5.5, Councilor Noon. That was an inside joke. 5.5, Councilor Noon, request city manager work with the appropriate departments to address traffic calming measures, including crosswalks, speed bumps, or other safety measures needed to improve safety throughout the city. Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Duran. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think, last year too, the last term, and I know go forward, some of our district councilors going to file some of this motion. Instead of, having this, I thought of maybe just have it throughout the cities, address this, and having a plan going forward as to how we're going to address this, all these issues.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Councilor Duran.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Councilor Noon, for bringing this forward, because I think every neighborhood seems to be concerned about speeding. And I know that Liz Altman, our transportation engineer, is phenomenal, but she can't be everywhere all at once. And we don't have the resources to put a speed hump in front of everybody's house as may be requested. The city does have a neighborhood traffic calming program webpage, which I have found very useful, and it also explains how some of the measures, which ones work better than others, depending on circumstances. So that suggests that in addition to getting an update on street calming or traffic calming, that the report would include guidance for residents and councilors about the criteria that we use to prioritize which streets are planned to get which calming measures, and also to let residents know the best way to identify the need for traffic calming, so that it isn't merely the squeaky wheel that gets the grease, but that we have an overall strategy for approaching it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Duran. 5.7, Councilor Noon, request city manager provide the city council with a report concerning best practices used to ensure the city's noise ordinance is effectively enforced, including but not limited to situations where property owners play loud music at late hours. Seconded by Councilor Scott. Councilor Noon.
The motion speaks for itself.
Sakari better bet the lottery. 5.8, Councilor McDonough, request the city manager have the appropriate department take any necessary steps to provide a report to the council on ICE operations in the city of Lowell over the last 18 months, including who has been arrested, where are they being detained, how many immigration-related arrests have been made in Lowell, any cooperation or request for cooperation between ICE and the Lowell Police Department. Seconded by Councilor Duran. Councilor McDonough.
There are registered speakers, Mr. Mayor.
Registered speakers.
Debbie White.
I'm Debbie White. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here
If you could just speak, state your address, please.
130 John Street.
Thank you.
I'm here tonight to support Council McDonough's motion for an account of any recent ICE activity. Given the national climate right now and the fact that we live in a diverse community of immigrants in Lowell, it seems like a good idea to get a handle on information concerning past or current ICE activity in our neighborhoods. Any future decisions about the safety of our city that we might have to make must be informed, and that requires having the data at hand. So I thank Council McDonough for bringing this to the floor.
Thank you.
Dee Dee Shadron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councilors, Councilor McDonough. My name is Didi Chadrin. I'm at 130 John Street, speaking as a concerned Lowell resident regarding the council's request for, or the councilor's request for information on ICE operations in our city. I'm a member of a grassroots volunteer organization who have come together to protect our neighbors and communities by maintaining a vigil on ICE and Homeland Security operations in and around the city. The data we have gathered reveals a significant escalation in immigration enforcement around Massachusetts over the past 18 months, with Lowell specifically named among the communities targeted during multiple large-scale operations. Documented ICE activity in Massachusetts includes a report from federal officials arresting nearly 1,500 people in Massachusetts during, quote, Operation Patriot in May 2025, with Lowell explicitly named among the targeted communities by WBUR News. ICE conducted a worksite enforcement operation in Lowell on May 16th, 2025, arresting 11 Ecuadorian nationals at a roofing business staging area. This is from information on ICE's own website. During a 6-day operation in March 2025, ICE announced 370 arrests across Massachusetts, with arrests in Lowell referenced during congressional hearings, as reported by GBH News. September 2025, quote, Operation Patriot 2.0 resulted in 1,400 arrests statewide, according to WBUR News. And between January 20 and December 2nd, 2025, ICE conducted 9,987 removals from New England, a tenfold increase from the same period in 2024, according to WBUR News. In Massachusetts specifically, 94% of ICE arrests occurred in community settings rather than jails, and 78% of those arrested had no criminal record, as reported by CNN. As regards the human impact, these statistics represent our neighbors, families who have lived in Lowell for years, working in our businesses, sending their children to our schools, and contributing to our community. The Luce Immigrant Justice Network, which my organization coordinates with, incidentally, received over 300 calls in a single week in May, reporting federal enforcement activity across greater Boston communities, including Lowell. This information sourced from WBUR News. Our organization has witnessed firsthand the impact on Lowell families, children separated from parents, breadwinners detained, and community members living in fear of leaving their homes to work, attend medical appointments, or send their children to school. The data the city manager's report will provide is crucial for understanding ICE's footprint and overall impact in Lowell and the communities in which we live and work. We urge the council to also request 1, documentation of any ICE requests to use city facilities or resources. 2, information about any 287G agreements or cooperation protocols. 3, data on how enforcement activity has affected city services, including school attendance and public safety reporting. And 4, the number of Lowell families seeking emergency assistance following enforcement actions. Our community deserves transparency. We need to know how federal enforcement is affecting our neighbors and what role, if any, local resources are playing in these operations. Thank you all for your time and for requesting this critical information. My colleague has a few more words.
Anthony Masilli.
They have to be registered to speak, so the clerk will call their name when they're registered to speak.
Anthony Masilli.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk, Mr. Mayor, councilors. My name is Anthony Melissi. I reside at 235 Baldwin Street in District 8, the beautiful Upper Highlands. I fully support this motion. I want to thank Councilor McDonough for filing this motion because, quite frankly, our neighbors are scared. City residents, regardless of immigration or citizenship status, are on edge. Across the country, ICE is being deployed to conduct operations that are dubious at best and vicious at worst. Lowell does not exist in a vacuum. ICE has been in our streets. The Trump administration does not seem to be planning on rolling back any of their ICE operations anytime soon. We can only assume that we'll continue to see the ebb and flow of ICE activity that we've seen for the past year or so, or maybe even an increase in ICE activity in the coming months and years. If the federal government is conducting operations in our city, residents at least deserve to know the basics. Who's being arrested, why, where, and are our city resources, our tax dollars, being used in these operations? When these answers are not necessarily readily available, it's the job of our local government to find out what's happening in our streets. If we're being honest with ourselves, the only information really coming out about ICE that's readily available to residents are Facebook posts, Instagram stories, and just anecdotes of our neighbors being detained and disappearing for days and then just reappearing after being thrown into the back of an unmarked SUV. This is a necessary and important fact-finding motion, and I urge every single city councilor to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julio Mejia.
Sorry, it's Mejia. Julio Mejia, 1045 Essex Street in Lawrence. Good evening, Mayor, members of the Lowell City Council.
Could you stop for a minute? If you
Yes.
don't live in Lowell, you don't have, you
I
can't.
cannot.
You cannot.
Okay.
Sorry.
I work in Lowell. Yes. No?
But we can suspend the rules and allow him to speak.
Sure, I just need to know the nonprofit, if you just.
Merrimack
need the
Valley
nonprofit.
Project.
There you go, sorry, go ahead.
And I would support him to.
Yeah, no, as long as he's in a nonprofit, he can say it.
Good? Okay. Good evening, Mayor, members of the Lowell City Council, City Manager, and beloved Lowell residents. I'm Julio Mejia, the Executive Director of the Merrimack Valley Project, and we work with faith, labor, and community groups all across the region, including Lowell, to fight for social, racial, and economic justice issues. I want to start with something very simple and true, that silence is not neutral. Silence is what makes us more vulnerable. It's what makes our immigrant neighbors more vulnerable, and it does not protect our cities and our community from the actions at the federal level. It does not uplift the people who are already living in silence because they're scared and because they feel like if they speak up, they'll be targeted next. Right now, there are immigrant families in Lowell who are watching every move that ICE and immigration enforcement make. They're thinking twice before going to work, before driving to the store, before letting their kids walk outside, and before even calling for help in any kind of emergency. Not because they did something wrong, but because they don't know if the systems that are supposed to serve them and their community will actually protect them. And when people are afraid to ask for help, all of us become less safe. Lowell is a city of immigrants. It's who Lowell is. It's what has built our neighborhoods and what keeps our economy and our communities moving and what makes the city strong. So this motion matters because it's about the kind of city we choose to be when it's hard. It's about whether Lowell will take a clear stand that says our city services exist to serve its residents and that not intimidates them. Schools should be places where kids can learn, not places where parents feel watched or even their kids. And public safety should mean everyone can seek help without worrying that it will put their family at risk. Lowell has a choice right now. We can be a city that stands on democracy and the dignity of all people. We should not accept an authoritarian approach to government, and we should not normalize this kind of intimidation. Lowell is a city where people should be able to live openly and safely and with their rights respected. So I'm asking you to move this motion forward again, make sure it leads to these real protections that limit cooperation with this rogue agency that exists at the federal level to the maximum extent allowed. People deserve certainty and the dignity that they deserve. They deserve to know that Lowell will not deepen the fear that is already harming their community. Lowell can be the kind of city that looks away, or Lowell can be the kind of city that stands up. And so I'm asking you tonight to do just that and stand up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carol Fallon.
Carol Fallon, 865 Bridge Street, Lowell, Mass. I'm wanting this motion to go forward, thanks to Sean McDonough. I have witnessed numerous arrests happen in my neighborhood on the street that I live in. I'm part of the Luce Hub. I volunteer with Dee Dee and Deb. I witness it in a courtroom. I am part of the court watch, so I see this from start to finish almost. A lot of the arrests that are happening with the cooperation of our town police as well. That is happening. I have seen it with our fire department cooperation. I have videotapes of this. I have pictures of this. It's our job to make sure that people go to school, people go to work. They shouldn't have to fear that. We have ICE agents outside of people's houses at 4:30 in the morning because these are people going to work, people going to school. This shouldn't be something where someone doesn't want to go and do that. These are people with no criminal records. I know this for a fact because I see it in the courtroom. Again, I see this from start to finish. It's affecting my child as well, going to school, worried that his friends are going to get picked up. No one should have to live through this fear whatsoever. Everybody knows what's going on. There's no way to ignore it. We see it when we're going grocery shopping. We see it when we go to the pharmacy. There's no way that not one resident in Lowell can tell me they have not seen these arrests happen or have not seen these people on the street. They're everywhere. They've come in surges in May. They come in June. What I'm worried about happening next is that we'll be the next city like Minneapolis. It's frightening, and it's not something that any of the residents in Lowell should have to go through. So I want this motion to go forward.
Thank you.
Jose Cervantes.
Mr. Mayor, Manager, City Council, people in the audience, people that spoke before me. I had a few things in my head that I was going to say, but, you know, I apologize for what happened out there. I kind of lost my train of thought. But, you know, thank you, Councilor McDonough, for putting this motion forward. You know, real quick, we all know the political climate we're living in today. We all understand that anything that has to do with ICE or immigration right now, other than being divisive, can put a target on our back. This motion isn't asking you to fight ICE. This motion isn't asking you to create political or racial divides. But for somebody that comes from that community, that you've heard me say time and time again, crawled under that fence at the age of 2 years old, that has been Mexican and has been dealt with rhetoric like this that we're hearing their whole life. My community is in fear. Is in fear that they can't call the cops if something happens to them because they're in fear of being deported. My community is in fear that historically we know that when a certain demographic is attacked, crime against that community goes through the roof. They're afraid to call the cops. They're afraid to speak up. So what I see this motion as is not anti-ICE, is not political. It's a way of you showing my community that if there's an issue, you have their back. That the cops are gonna show up, the fire department, whoever it is, and they're gonna provide them with services just like it was anybody else in this room, and that they're not gonna get deported. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I see when I see this motion. And I think Sean can agree with me. I'm sorry, Councilor McDonough. So please, push this forth. This isn't a political thing. And I mean, other than that, there's not much that wasn't said tonight. Thank you to everybody that's here. Thank you to everybody that's watching at home. And this is about telling our neighbors that they're safe. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Councilor McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to everyone who signed up to speak tonight and sat through everything it took to get to that point. This motion, I do want to start by saying and recognizing the work that this administration has done and Superintendent Hudon has done about a year ago when you've released the. Are we good? sorry. When you released the updated ICE policy and we tried to make the city's and the city police department's position clear, this motion, first, I also understand that several of the things asked for is not information that the city is going to have readily available. Stuff like who ICE is arresting and what ICE is doing. The city of Lowell has no control over ICE. What other municipalities have done around the Commonwealth and around the country is just try to seek that information from ICE. We can at least ask. Doesn't seem to be bothering anybody at the federal level when anyone asks. And then with the bottom portion of this motion, I would imagine that any information from the police department is going to be easier for us to obtain. I think the policy is great. I think that a year in, there are residents that, well, there's a lot of residents that are still expressing concern, and they just want to see, they want to see the numbers. They want to see that, okay, we have this policy. Councilor Noon a year ago brought a motion forward. The administration responded with the updated policy, and they just want to see, they want that verified, I guess, with a year of action. And I think that our police department has almost certainly done a great job. I think this administration has probably done a great job, and I think we can make residents feel safer in the community when they see those numbers. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Councilor Noon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank all the speakers who came up and speak out on these issues. I got to say this, right? I am very proud of the city of Lowell, and I commend our police chief. It's not just been last year; it's been many years already. We have an ICE policy. The chief already stated the last time around that we do not assist ICE on immigration issue. We do not. That's the policy for the Lowell Police Department. I also asked him, and he told me that ICE doesn't communicate with the Lowell Police when they come in and who they arrest, and that is the problem. That's the problem. I'm not sure if our police chief can do anything about it, but that's a good motion. Let's see if maybe we can get something from the chief. Maybe for some reason they report to the chief that I'm coming to your town, or I'm arrest so-and-so, this is where I'm going to detain them. I'm not sure that our police department, our chief, those information shared with our police department. They should, but they're not. Meaning the ICE, they should do that, but they don't. I share the frustration, I share the worry. Just today alone, my nephew, who attend Lowell High School, not Lowell High School, UMass Lowell, right? Call me, uncle, are you home? Can you give me a ride to the post office before I head to UMass Lowell for class? I said, why? Can you take Uber? Can you walk? I said, no, I'm afraid. He's born here. He's 20 years old, second year UMass Lowell. I'm telling you, this is not a joke. This is happening. That's scare me, really scare me. When my nephew was born and raised here, 20 years old. That is trouble. I'll tell you. I share the frustration. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if we can do anything about it, but I just want you to know this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Noon. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. I agree. I know there is a real concern in many sections of our city and in many communities, and not just our city, nationwide. There is something called jurisdiction, unfortunately. And I don't think there's anyone here that is sitting here supportive of what we see and hear, the way this is being carried out nationwide. But jurisdiction is the key piece here, and that's because this organization that's been put together, ICE, has federal jurisdiction. They're on marching orders of the current president. Whether we agree or disagree, they don't have to notify state police. They don't have to notify local police. They have federal jurisdiction. I think to sit here and say I mean, and I'm not looking to dispute anything, but I represent Centerville, and we do have a large population of people from all over, as well as the city of Lowell. And that's what, again, as we heard earlier when we're talking about our Brandon, that diversity. I mean, you can't walk the streets of Centerville and not see a variety of everything. And so I've seen when they rounded up those hardworking roofers at the car wash. But one thing I have to justify and clarify, there was none of our fire department or Lowell Police Department anywhere near when that was occurring. I don't want that misconception, and I think although the intention is well intended and fully understandable, I want to repeat that. Lowell Police, one thing I can say is their policy, this isn't something that they just drafted and came out with a sudden surge from a federal level. Their policy's been consistent and in place for quite some time, and they stand by that. I speak to many officers, and if you look at our police force, they're diverse as well. And none of our people are looking to follow federal initiatives looking at people's immigration status. That service, if you are having a health issue, if your home is on fire, any of the issues that any of our residents are afforded by our professionals, it applies to everybody. And they're not asking about your immigration status. If you have a loved one that's sick and you call for help at home, do not hesitate. Our Lowell Police and our fire department are not checking people's immigration status. I understand there is a national push to bring attention to this, and it's very tricky because we also have to look on the same token. Federal funding is being cut left and right in many areas. And to see claims of our fire department and our police department cooperating in these actions, I think that's the farthest from the truth. And I think that would, I'm sure the fire department and police department employees that are watching this feel a certain type of way about those statements, because I've spoken to quite a bit and they go above and beyond it not to get dragged into this because they don't agree with it, many of them. I also think for us to sit out here and tell the public that they're going to be completely fine, I don't want to give that false sense of safety, because realistically, ICE is not a state or local controlled organization. We have zero say over what they're doing. And so if ICE shows up in our city, the thing that as counselors we can ensure is that our trained professionals are going to follow that long-standing policy. And we are not doing anything outside of that policy that I believe the community agreed with last time it was presented. And I really hope on this motion response, Chief Hudon can come, go into detail over the long-standing policy, and just explain to the public exactly what our trained professionals' role is in protecting and serving our public. And I do want to say, immigration problems or challenges that you are feeling uncomfortable about, rightfully so, they're not coming from Lowell Police, they're not coming from Lowell Fire. This is something that I really think, unfortunately, nationwide, they need to get a grip, and I think some of this is also advocacy that needs to happen around to our state delegation as well as the federal delegation. Because on a local level, I will do everything in my power, as I'm sure as my colleagues, to ensure that our men and women with the police and fire will follow that long-standing policy. And this immigration piece is never going to hinder any first response services or any kind of services they provide our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do appreciate all the people that are speaking here today. Not that I agree with the blame or anything like that, but there's a lot to be worried about, as Councillor Nguyen mentioned. This is personal, especially to a community like Lowell, with so diverse. A lot of Asian Americans, a lot of Latinos, a lot of immigrants, Americans, and I stress that is the slash is the American. A lot of American immigrants. They're born here. They're naturalized citizens. They feel triggered by it. They do everything legally, but for some reason, because it's happening in other parts of the country, they do feel uncomfortable. They feel like they might be at the wrong place at the wrong time. In speaking about this, I do appreciate Councilor McDonough's motion, but I think we just have to be careful, as Councilor Robertson mentioned. The jurisdiction of ICE and Lowell Police are entirely different. And Councilor Nguyen mentioned the policy that Chief spoke before, and entirely separate. And our Chief Department, our Lowell Police Department, we have committed to community policing, to community services for so many decades. And I can truly say I benefit from that. I appreciate that. To see the Lowell police officer doing one-on-one conversation, building relationships with kids from the acre, doing toy drives, do involve all kind of community engagement. And so I do want to thank the Lowell Police Department. I want to thank the chief for going above and beyond to make the community feel safe and to respond to all the emergency needs and so forth. I was not going to support this motion because it's the roles and the jurisdiction are entirely different. But I think for the purpose of showing transparency, and the chief came on many times, not just per respond to the Councilor Nguyen's motion before, but every time it comes up, he's completely working to build community trust, to have engagement, to provide community service, to respond to the needs of every community. But I think just to have him come say that one more time, it will build trust, transparency. It makes sure that as elected official also ourselves, that here's what we have nothing to hide. We are 100% working together with the Lowell Police Department, with the administration, with all the elected officials to make sure that the city of Lowell is safe. And again, I caution when you bring a motion together, I do feel like the motion is a little bit, I'm not one to how to structure wording for a motion, but I feel like this probably would be more better directed to the federal representative, to ask the federal representative, like the Congress and the Senate, for a report for something like this. But as it is, I do agree that if the chief of police can make the report, and he might be able to reach out to the federal representative for a report, I think that would make our community feel safe, to establish trust throughout over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chow. Councilor Mercia.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To add to Councilor Robinson's comment, I can remember our police chief, Greg Hudon, standing before the podium, and behind the podium, and he was addressing the council as to things that go on in the city. And he made a statement that I never forgot, that when a police officer pulls someone over in a vehicle, whether it be for speeding or going through a red light or whatever, they never ever stop the vehicle and say, do you have a green card? What is your status here? Are you an illegal immigrant? The police department, they don't do that. They follow their, whatever happened, their infraction. They went through a red light, or they this or that, but they don't question any of that. They're independent of ICE. So to say that they became involved, I really don't know how that can be. But I want to take this opportunity to thank the people that came to speak on this. It's very troublesome when you watch TV and you see all the things that are happening all over the place, and you hope, because Lowell is a city of immigrants, you don't want to see that happening here. I don't know who amongst us didn't have any immigrants in their family. I know my father came to this country when he was 7 years old, so technically he's an immigrant. But the police don't stop and say, oh, did you become a citizen here? They don't question any of that. So that is actually true. So I just wanted to add to that and say thank you to the people that are here speaking. And we didn't mean to be rude and say, get outside, but when you demonstrate like that, we couldn't hear anything going on up here. We didn't mean to be rude to say, get out, but you have to do that outside. We have a meeting here and it was interfering, so we didn't mean any disrespect, but I appreciate them with their concern, and I would hope that that doesn't happen here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Mercia. Councilor Scott.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank the speakers for coming out. I think that they're right. People are scared, and rightfully so. My concern, though, about this particular motion is that we're requesting the city to report on federal activity that suggests that we somehow, work with them or something, which does not happen. We specifically have a policy with our police department to make our residents feel safe so that they can come to the police. They don't conduct civil immigration enforcement. They don't track immigration status. And I just felt this motion kind of fuels unnecessary fear, possibly, that we are cooperating with ICE by asking for this information. I have no issue with coming back with a response on this. I have no issue with referring this for information to the Department of Homeland Security, who's the only one that's going to provide this information, not the City of Lowell, because we do not work with the Department of Homeland Security on immigration. So again, I'll support this in the interest of transparency, but I really feel that this actually does more harm than good to our residents that are in fear. Thank you.
Councilor Liang.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think, to me, this motion is about data, and basically, I would say the law department can just do a FOIA, right, and get some info. We are a city of immigrants and refugees, but some of us are wounded mentally and physically. In September, I saw a homeless man was taken away. Now, he's homeless. He had only very few friends. I work in a community. I know this little guy. He walked with a limp. But, he came out of the courthouse and he was taken away. None of his friends or family members never knew where he was taken to. All I saw was that a van with a New York license plate. That was it. I'm saying this because I had a flashback. In 1977, my uncle was taken away. That was it. He disappeared. We never seen him since. So what I'm saying that I was young, but imagine there's a lot of community members, let's say coming from Cambodia like me, who has gone through this kind of stuff, have seen this kind of stuff. So, it's data, see what's going on. Some of our friends is missing, disappearing. Where are they? What happened? So this little guy, I never seen him since. I don't know what happened to him. I never seen him again. And I don't even know if his friends knew where he went. So it's happening. It's scary, but I don't know. I'm just saying that we should know something. This is just about data. Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Liang. Councilor McDonough.
If I could just quickly, just to reiterate, I don't personally think that the Lowell Police Department is doing anything malfeasant. I think that they're following. I have no reason to think that they're not following the policy that Superintendent Hudon put forth a year ago. This motion comes from listening to an inordinate number of residents kind of speculate and spin and get nervous due to the lack of transparency, and I admittedly from the federal government, this motion seeks really what I'm looking for is for the city to agree with our residents that we don't know any of this information, and we wish we did, and we would like to know that information as well. And what information we do have, we can report, but the fact that I think everyone who spoke tonight said, well, it's a jurisdictional issue and we probably don't know, speaks to the frustration, I'm sure, that many in the city administration, as well as the city of Lowell, feel. And so if in looking for the information we don't have it, I think that speaks not to our inability, it speaks to the problem we're in. It's not that Lowell residents need to have fear of the police or the fire or whoever. It's we're all swimming in the same direction. We're all trying, and maybe you're confused, and it sometimes doesn't look that way. But we also don't know, or we are also trying to find out. That's all.
Thank you, Councilor McDonough. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. After listening to my colleagues, I think it might be a good idea to have Chief Hudon pay us a visit here and just give us an update and his thoughts on the subject as it pertains to today's goings on. So if we could get that city manager, have Chief come and speak with us. All right. Thank you.
Motion by Councilor Dakota, seconded by Councilor Noon to have Chief Hudon come to the City Council and speak on this issue. Roll call.
Councilor Giron.
Yes.
Councilor Liang.
Yes.
Councilor McDonough.
Yes.
Councilor Mercia.
Yes.
Councilor Noon.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Rourke.
Sorry, this is on the motion itself, right? Yes.
No, this is to have Chief Hudon come up and speak at a future meeting.
I wouldn't imagine the manager would enter a response without the police superintendent's knowledge, right? Yes.
Councilor Chow.
Yes.
Councilor Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Getchia. Councilor Scott.
Yes.
Yes. 5.10, Council McDonough, request the city manager have the proper department provide the council with a copy of all lease agreements between the city and/or any of its departments and private entities.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor McDonough.
It speaks for itself.
Wow. Thank you. 5.12, Councilor Dakota, requests city manager provide an update on creating a facilities department.
Second.
Second by Councilor Noon. Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the city manager. It's been a few months since we've broached this subject, and I'm just hoping that you might have some type of an update. I'm not looking for a report, city manager, just maybe if I have an update of what's going on at this point and where we plan on going.
City Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through you to the council. Council, tomorrow we're meeting with Superintendent Skinner to discuss MOU, and I do anticipate that we'll be discussing the facilities department again. As everyone knows, the previous council, tried to push forward the facilities department. That wasn't accepted at this time last year, so we'll continue to move in that direction to see if we can come to an agreement on the facilities department.
Good news. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager Golden. Councilor Scott.
So I'm going to say this. In regards to the facilities department, I think our tour of the high school highlighted the need for a facilities department more than anything else could have for us. I would invite the school committee. I guess perhaps we should have them again for a joint facilities meeting. It's our buildings, but they're going to deteriorate very quickly if they're maintained the way they were when we were on our tour. So I would just, again, highlight that this is why we're looking for this to happen.
Thank you, Councilor Scott. You just saved me some steps. 5.13, Mayor Getchia, Councilor Mercia, request the city manager reach out to the Lowell Transitional Living Center requesting they clean in front of their property daily. No second needed?
There are registered speakers, Mr. Mayor. Becca Fueling.
Hi, I'm Becca, live on 40 Fairfield Street, Lowell. I'm a local business owner. The notion about having the outside of LTLC cleaned every day is a fair concern. But there's litter on nearly every street in Lowell. So what is the motive here? Is it to benefit the people who have to live outside on those streets? Or is it to make us look like we have our act together? And who are we expecting to do the work? A holistic approach to the issue would be to employ unhoused people, to do street cleaning, provide them with supplies to do so, and add more public garbage cans to the surrounding blocks. If we as a city can employ our unhoused folks, we can increase the quality of life they have and give them some footing to be able to meet their basic needs. As an employer, our government should hold LTLC to a higher standard, not just from the outside, but the inside as well. There's no heat inside their bathrooms, and they fail to meet safety and sanitary standards time and time again. We need to help fund a healthy environment that meets standards of living we would want for ourselves. Again, the issue surpasses the reach of LTLC, as nearly every street in Lowell has litter, just as the issue of our unhoused population extends beyond the reach of LTLC, since they can only house 90 out of the estimated 300 people living in Lowell without housing. Warming and cooling centers are essential for sustaining life when you are subject to living on the street, and are essential to taking care of your employees. There's an empty lot next to LTLC, which is a good place to consider pitching a large tent with heating, porta potties, snacks, and water. Employees, i.e. people cleaning the street litter, can be supplied with proper PPE, which includes uniforms that keep them warm. We cannot depend on charity when it comes to keeping our streets clean. This is a simple program I suggest we implement, and I'm happy to collaborate further. Every street in Lowell deserves to be maintained, just as every person deserves to have their needs met. We have so many people looking for work who cannot catch a break due to prejudice and lack of resources. With this proposal, we can make work with our unhoused population to make Lowell a place that truly shines, creating a symbiotic relationship with our community and breaking the barriers of poverty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shay Bridges?
It's Shlee, but that's fine. Doesn't really matter how it's said, to be honest. Take it out of this charger. I'm here tonight to express my concern that this motion does nothing to address the root of the problem.
Can we just state your name and address for the record, please?
Oh, yeah, Shlee Bridges, 200 Market Street.
Thank you.
I'm here tonight to express my concern that this motion does nothing to address the root of the problem. LTLC's capacity is far lower than the unsheltered population in Lowell, and folks who want a bed have to line up there every day. There are no indoor spaces available during the day at the shelter. If there is a buildup of litter near LTLC beyond what's seen in other parts of town, it is likely due to the fact that our unhoused neighbors have nowhere else to go and a lack of public trash cans. Why don't we have more of them? It's easy to put a trash can out there. People would use it. Duh. Sorry. I am also concerned that this motion is part of a larger pattern of the city putting more effort into appearances than human needs. If we have time and resources to be discussing cleaning sidewalks daily, we surely must also have time and resources to discuss opening warming centers when it is dangerously cold. Like tonight, for instance. When is the last, especially Saturday?
Can we please stick to the motion?
This is the motion.
The motion is.
The motion's about
clean in the
cleaning.
first place.
But when is the last time that happened? Will it happen this coming weekend when wheel chills are expected to dip into double negative digits? How much of that litter would not be there if we were actually providing shelter or housing? I also worry that this added demand will reduce the ability of services. If LTLC staff are cleaning sidewalks, they're not doing intakes or connecting with their clients with resources that actually help the problem, like mental health. Does this motion come with staffing? Does it come with penalties that could threaten the financial stability of LTLC that already doesn't have money to pay for their heat in their bathroom, apparently? Like the city litter fines did to the Elliott Day Center last year. What a shame. Litter is one of the natural consequences of inadequate services for the unhoused members of our community. If Lowell does not want to see the visible effects of an undeserved, unhoused population, we should provide adequate services like shelter, heat, food, resources. It's the right thing to do. It's a lot more effective than just telling someone to clean it up. That's all I gotta say. Thanks.
Councilor Mercia.
Can you suspend so I can speak?
Suspension of the rules by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor McDonough.
Thank you. Thank you. That was perfect. I'm just going to add one quick piece. Caroline Snow, I'm on Fletcher Street in Lowell. Again, litter is natural when people are forced to be outside. Every single person in this building is one major event away from being homeless. That's it. That is a statistic in today's economy. And I want every single person in this building to understand that they are failing their citizens. This council has to do better. This motion should have replaced litter and daily and just said clean LTLC. We have the money in the budget. We have a rainy day fund. I would like to see a proposal for someone on the Lowell City staff to clean this litter. That's it. Use our rainy day fund. I put my tax money in it, and I want it to be used for that. Thank you.
Councilor Mercia.
Motion speaks for itself.
Thank you. 5.14, Mayor Gitcher requests city manager repair all ADA sidewalks warning pads on Parker Street, seconded by Councilor Noon. Motion speaks for itself. 6.1, information reports. Information report, traffic ordinance. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask Ms. Baez-Rose to pick up on 6.1.
Great, thank you, everyone. So the last council voted to make some changes to how these kinds of requests that were sent to the transportation engineer are handled moving forward. So this is actually our first attempt at summarizing this information in a way where, because what we had talked about at that point was that the information would still come to this council, but each individual request wouldn't necessarily require a vote. It would allow the transportation engineer to move this information forward. So essentially, this is like our request of summarizing the things that have been in front of the transportation engineer and the changes that we're going to make. If there are sort of questions or comments or suggestions for a different way to approach this, we're kind of all ears, but this was our first attempt. The plan would be that after there's some accumulation of them, we would bring a similar informational back to you all to kind of summarize the next sort of group of requests and move forward kind of this way.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Robinson.
through you to Assistant Manager Baez-Rose. I like the direction you're going with this. It's in addition, though, where, like, so if we have a specific traffic-related incident, we still have the ability to bring it forward and have that individual piece discussed and addressed. It's not going to be, we have to wait for a collection and then, so it's in addition, but overall, you're going to be looking to do it more so this format.
Thank you, Mayor. So yes, we're not going to wait until a bunch of things are asked of us before we take action. It's just the kind of report back to you all. We'll probably do it in a more summary style form, but the idea with the change was that it would allow us to kind of move things quicker, frankly. And so that's kind of what we're hoping to do, is sort of take in the requests, take action on those requests, and then at some point when it's sort of enough information that it's probably worth an informational, have it on the council agenda, but not wait to take action until there's like a whole bunch of things piled up.
Perfect, thank you very much.
Manager Golan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. To further summarize, immediately when the council calls, because this has happened, we want to be able to react tomorrow, if we could, well before the the next meeting, if we could, because a lot of the councils will just send us something now with the ability to do this, with the change. We can figure this out with the traffic engineer, and then get back to the council immediately, therefore satisfying the constituent in a quicker manner.
And if I may just add, thank you to the traffic engineer and your team for those solar-powered flashing lights there on West 6th, especially this time of year where it's dark when you go to work, it's dark when you get home. Like, you can see those from a good distance off, and I think they're very, very valuable, as well as I noticed the newer installation in front of Indy's Market, I believe it was, and I'm telling you, I think it really does bring attention to traffic areas and high pedestrian areas that was desperately needed, so thank you again.
Thank you, Councilor Robinson. Information report, Lowell Memorial Auditorium RFP. Mr. Manager.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Through you to the council. It'd be our request that Arts Culture Subcommittee would have the opportunity to take a look at this and then speak with the Board of Trustees so we can get that RFP out in a timely manner. A lot's been happening down at the LMA, as all of you know. I think that Councilor Dakota, I know you know this, we've been doing a lot of different work down there, and once again, this is one of those situations, I think, that this council, as well as previous councils, have been very excited to really take the veterans portion of the LMA, the entire piece, and honor it the right way. I know each and every councilor has been down there to take a tour and see what we've been doing. Everything from air conditioning, heating, etc. We're attacking some of the restrooms now, but it's a pretty exciting time, I think. So my request, if it's okay with the council, is to ensure that Arts and Culture Subcommittee gets an opportunity to look at this with the Board of Trustees to have this further discussion.
Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To the city manager, to you and your staff, it's really looking good over there, and you guys are doing a tremendous job. Just want to tell you that. All right.
Thank you, Councilor Dakota. Councilor Robinson.
Thank you. And I echo my colleague's sentiments. I spoke to you the other day, and we were talking about a different issue, and something just popped into my head, as you remember. I told you, you have a really good team at the auditorium. I was amazed. I walked in there for the Golden Gloves. I've been twice so far now. The floors were shining. The place is in great condition. I mean, well-maintained, and especially with, it seems like the crowds, I don't want to jinx anything, but the crowds seem to be on the upward swing for attendance at the fights. And even with all that foot traffic and people in and out, the place is really shining, so thank you.
Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through the council. I have to bring this up. Mr. Wayne down there is doing a fabulous, fabulous job. And with the new organization that we just brought in, a veterans organization, which goes under VCT, we're really excited that we're encouraging, and this council is helping this veterans group down in the LMA to get some of this painting done and some of this work done that, quite frankly, has been a decade in the making. We have spent millions of dollars down there, and you know something? It's really, it's a real gem. It always has been, but it just needs to be shined up a little bit, and I really think we're going in that direction. But Mr. Wayne is a big part of that. Councilor, he's a great, great guy, and he moves 100 miles an hour down there. But I don't want to leave the part of the VCT, the veterans organization that we're working with, that is going to be down there, and hopefully we'll be working with them in other areas throughout the city.
Motion to accept the information reports and place on file by Councilor Mercia, seconded by Councilor Duran. 6.2 has been removed from the agenda. 7, votes from the city manager. 7.1, vote, accept, expend $612,919.09 FY26 Shannon Grant Communities State Initiative, waive full reading and second reading by title. Authorize the city manager on behalf of the city of Lowell to accept and expand a grant from the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security regarding the FY 2026 Shannon Community Safety Initiative award in the amount of $612,990.09. Dollars over a one-year period for the use by the City of Lowell Police Department.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to accept
Councilor Noon.
by Councilor Noon, seconded by Council Mercia, roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Counsel Giron.
Yes.
Counsel Liang.
Yes.
Counsel McDonough.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Counsel Robinson.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Scott.
Yes.
Counsel Chow.
Yes.
Counsel Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Getchia.
Yes.
11.
8, Constable Bond. 8.1, Communications. City Manager request approval of Constable Bond Stanley Wyzanski. Motion to adopt by Councilor Rourke, seconded by Councilor McDonough. Roll call.
Counsel Giron.
Yes.
Counsel Liang.
Yes.
Counsel McDonough.
Yes.
Counsel Mercia.
Yes.
Counsel Noon.
Yes.
Counsel Robinson.
Yes.
Counsel Rourke.
Yes.
Counsel Scott.
Yes.
Counsel Chow.
Yes.
Counsel Dakota.
Yes.
Mayor Getchia.
Yes.
11.
9, Subcommittee reports. Seeing none, we'll move on. 10, Petitions. 10.1, Claims. 3, Property damage. Motion to refer to Law Department for report and recommendation by Councilor Scott, seconded by Councilor Dakota. 10.2, Miscellaneous. Jose Antonio Robles, Janelpi, request installation of handicap parking sign at 341 Pawtucket Boulevard, Unit 8. Motion to refer to the Transportation Engineer for report and recommendations by Councilor Liang, seconded by Councilor Duran. 11, Announcements. Anybody have any announcements? Councilor Dakota.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On January 31st, the annual Key Family Polar Plunge at Seabrook will be taking a hold. This year's recipient is Bobby Panagiotopoulos. Bobby was a beloved high school football and track coach. He was suddenly struck by NORS, a rare life-threatening seizure disorder and autoimmune encephalitis that attacked the brain. He's a real warrior and good kid, and hope everybody will come out. It's, if anything, just to see Kevin Durkin go in the water, that's all. That'll work. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dakota. Councilor Chow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, the Lowell Sun Charities Golden Gloves is happening. The 79th Annual Golden Gloves, Top Central New England Preliminaries First Responders Night, Lowell Memorial Auditorium is this Thursday, January 22nd at 7:30 p.m. This is invited by the first responders. First Responders Night, presented by WellPoint, a health benefit company, will take place on Thursday, January 22nd, honoring firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and emergency personnel who keep our community safe. In addition, WellPoint will host a private reception for first responders before the first bout. This evening will also include a special exhibition bout featuring members of the Lowell Police Department and the Massachusetts State Police. Additionally, several local community champions will be recognized in the ring at 7:30 p.m., including EMT from Pride Star Trinity EMS, police officers from Lowell Police Department, and firefighters from Lowell Fire Department. 3 honorees exemplify exceptional dedication to public service and positive community impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Chow. Manager Golden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, through to the council. Councils, as you know, in certain sections of the city, we had a 16-inch main break, and I have to tell you, our water department, led by Aaron Fox, Paul St. Cyr, they've done a fabulous job. We did have to bring people in on this one, but it should be wrapped up by tonight. They are flushing it and everything else, but I'll tell you, it was quite the ordeal. We were moments away from having a 2 to 3 day problem, but the professionals over in the water department, Mr. Fox, as everybody knows, who's running it, they've done a great job. So things should be back to normal for the edification of the residents within hopefully the next 12 hours. They're going to be doing a lot of flushing, and as usual, if you see that water, just turn your faucet on, typically the tub, flush it out a little bit, but we dodged a big one. This could have been a 24-inch, which would have caused a major problem. But thank you very much to Mr. St. Cyr and Mr. Fox and our entire crew, as well as the crew that we needed to bring in for that. Cold water.
So make sure you run your cold water. That's what Councilor Rourke is trying to say. Motion
Cold
to
water,
adjourn by Councilor Noon, seconded by Councilor Chow. Thank you.